Kokolioko, 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 chicken they grow for days.
Oldest republic in Africa.
Yes, I'm on early today.
And yet,
today. You can also
we're one of the least developed countries
what I'm
on the continent,
I'm going live
and indeed one of the least developed countries in the world.
If you want to watch what
and I say to you, my fellow Liberians, we deserve better Liberia. We need to ask ourselves some fundamental questions. Why are we where we are? Most Liberian homes don't have electricity. Most Liberian homes don't have running water. Most Liberians are unemployed. These are things we can change. These are things we should demand of ourselves and of our leaders. We, as Liberians, cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. We cannot keep electing and selecting the same kinds of leaders with the same kinds of experiences and expect Liberia to change. We have to do many things differently, and that starts with selecting and electing new leaders who know how to create jobs, who know how to grow the economy, who will prioritize the Liberian people first before they prioritize themselves. And this is what I offer you, the Liberian people. The other universal truth that I want to share with you, my fellow Liberians, is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And again, I ask you to look at my record of job creation, of success, of managing large budgets without one penny going missing. All of these things you can look at and compare to the other candidates. And again, you will see that my past performance and past behavior is a good predictor, a good indicator that what I commit to, we will deliver. There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what's. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. Our next priority is agriculture. We are a country that do not fear ourselves. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves. And my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our 5th priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is, first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after these things called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country, is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize their assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign. Okay. So those are the things we will do to really go after corruption. I have committed that I will not take a salary. The salary that is paid the president, I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is we'll make sure we're getting full value, the full monies we're due from our natural resources. We'll look to exploit other natural resources so we can get the funds required to fund healthcare, to fund infrastructure, to create jobs, etc., etc. So finding the money is the second how. The next how is we want to create a government of inclusion. We want all sections of our country to be represented in the government. We want opposition political parties to be in government, because we believe that having a government inclusion will help all of us make the right decisions. It will make sure that we're spreading the resources of our country across the entire country. And then the last two hows, one is growing the private sector. We will focus on growing the private sector so Liberians can primarily benefit from that growth. No longer should Liberian business people be spectators to our economy. And we want to actively support Liberianization and encourage and provide credit and other facilities to Liberian businesses so they can participate. And last but not least, we will use technology. We'll leverage technology to help us achieve our goals. So those are the what's and the how's. But let me end by leaving you again with these two universal truths. One is we cannot keep doing the same things, my people, and expect different results. We cannot keep electing the same people with the same experiences and expect Liberia to change. We need to elect and select different people to lead us, to serve us, to help us manage and run our country. And the other universal truth is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And on those two counts, I believe I stand head and shoulders above the other candidates aspiring. Together, we will change Liberia for the benefit of all Liberians. We will transform our country. We will give us a new start, a fresh start, so that all of us can benefit from this country we love. I thank you. God bless you. God bless the Republic of Liberia.
Chicken necro for day.
Okay guys, how are you today again? My name is Munal Kishen, aka the General, and we've been doing some stuff, we've been doing some talking. Hey man, I can't wait before I bring you up, man. I haven't said nothing yet. Prince, relax, Prince, relax. Prince, you're my co-host for the day. Don't worry, Prince, relax. You know what I'm going to speak about today. You know very well. Facebook family, friends, brothers and sisters. Oh, that's good, my boy. That's good, Joshua. That's a good thing. That's a very big thing there, right there. To be, oh yeah. I say I'm proud of you, man. You're doing everything as a coach, but make sure that when he's signing contract, make sure that 10% is standing by. Because you know when you get married to some white girl, you know they will tell you straight and say, listen, your pa. Yes, Nito Brown, one of our strong business guys. Based in, I think, Minnesota. Have you been, Nito, you in Minnesota or what? I think you in Minnesota. This boy, you know, I like him, I admire him. He's a strong guy. Man, Nito, listen, you need to videotape your stuff. Just videotape it and send it to me. I will do some editing and I will at least play it whenever I come on Facebook or on YouTube and whatsoever. I love to see Liberians who are doing very, very good. Yeah. North Dakota. He's in Fargo. He's a businessman. Yes, he's a businessman. Yes, and Prince, stand by. I'll bring you up. He's a good business guy. I see he's in his shop. He's advertising his business. He tried to get into politics, but not like that. You know, he's a businessman. But you know, he wants to see good for Liberia. He loves his country. So what I want you to do, even if you use your telephone and videotape it, the main stuff, take your time and videotape it and inbox me and let me play. Remember, this is what I like to do. I'm not the biggest, I am nothing, but at least I am not the least, you know. So we try to do what we can do. But guys, today we'll be having an interesting show, interesting show. And you know, CPP is made out of 4 political parties. 4 political parties, CPP. It's the UP, Liberty Party, ALP, and ANC. Do you know why I put ANC last? Because UP was in the front when they were organizing the whole CPP. They brought in Liberty Party. Then later on, they came with Bernard Ure. In fact, I sort of put Bernard Ure second because it was Bernard Ure and Liberty and UP that started it. Then after they have gathered everything, no, Prince, please, I beg you, Nito, my friend. This is not about free or whatsoever. Yes, it's not about. Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you very much. Okay, so Unity Party, then they brought in ANC. Because after they organized it, they noticed that, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If they noticed that, listen, we got to bring somebody in. Okay, yeah, okay, ALP came last. Okay, thank you very much for the correction. ALP came last, yeah. Okay, so, listen, I don't know everything. So when you tell me that's it, because you guys are watching, so I appreciate it highly. I appreciate it to correct me. So every one of them came in. They came in, what? To collaborate. So collaborating, that means everyone should be respected. That means they are saying that, okay, it's UP, ANC, and LP. Okay, then maybe UPANC, and LP. Yeah. Then Liberty Party. Then somebody else came last. Okay, fine. Now there should be some understanding and some respect. Mr. Cummings, when you look in the group, yes, Mr. Cummings, we say, oh, nobody know Mr. Cummings. But they saw something in Mr. Cummings. They saw something in him. They know that he was the clean chicken. It's almost like George Weah. You say, oh, George Weah never participated in the war, but Cummings was the clean chicken. So let us bring Cummings in. Maybe some people brought Cummings in because they think that Cummings is financially strong. Hey, that's it. Now they all came together, they collaborated. They did the first time, there was a mistake. There was no documentation. Then later on, they put some paperwork together to keep them. They made the first mistake from Cape Man, they realized it, and they start to build up from there. And later on, they came up with a framework that whoever win the nomination, nobody going to carry any candidates, and then they can support that person. It's collaboration. They are not. It's not one party. There is no agenda for the three groups. Because if you win the nomination, your agenda might be 80% of the agenda will come from you, and they will add whatever they want to add in it. It was fine. But you see, this is where the disrespect and the undermining and the betrayal and where everything came from. It started with Ben Ayure. You see, if you're a leader, you must be the last person to speak in the room. When you're having a cabinet meeting, you must be the last to speak. You listen to everybody. And when they say leaders should speak last, when you speak, people follow you. But this guy spoke on Jerome Cummings' show and made it clear that first he started like this. What make you think I'm not supporting Bouaka? Why I should support Cummings? He never stopped there. He went back and had a press conference and justified that Mr. Cummings, a stranger, coming from nowhere after 25 years, he just want to walk into Liberia for us to make him president. Oh, Mr. Cummings, a stranger, good. But this was the same Ben Ayure man who left before, went to the States, came back, and left again, came back. Okay. We all agree, nobody won the election, they all lost the election. Everybody started doing their work. Mr. Cummings continued to do his work. It is the right of Mr. Cummings to contest. It is the right of Mr. Ayure to contest. It is the right of other people. But when you try to portray the other man as if he's not a Liberian, Mr. Cummings is not a Liberian, Mr. Cummings is a foreigner, Mr. Cummings just fell from space and he wants to come and rule and do this and that because he's not in a group. I'm laying the foundation. I'm going to get to where I want to reach. I'm going to get there. Now, we look. Bouaka say he want to contest. The UP people say, oh, Bouaka will be the best person. Mr. Cummings should go with Bouaka. Why Mr. Cummings should go with Bouaka? Ben Ayure start to push it because Ben Ayure noticed that his relationship with Cummings will not be the way it's supposed to be because he and Cummings will not have no corrupt relationship. It will be a patriotic relationship. So we did everything. They continued to backstab Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings don't want to talk. To pay their fair share, they don't want to pay. Mr. Cummings was the little chairman. Mr. Cummings did this. Mr. Cummings could not win his own county and whatsoever. So that only Mr. Cummings now, because Mr. Cummings is the #1 scrutinized candidate in Liberia. But let me tell you guys where I'm coming today. I listened to Henry Costa today, and I will say this: it's one of the worst shows that Henry Costa ever had in his entire life. It's one of the worst and disrespectful shows that Henry Costa will even utter a word. And I read the comments. I hope you go and read the comments. And I look at everybody who were responding with a nice response were all from the Unity Party and were all people who don't think for themselves, who consider Henry Costa as a leader. And I saw 3 persons on that group that I don't have to call any, and I recognize them. They are all admirers of Henry Costa, but they frowned at him, and they asked, one of the guys asked the question, what kind of show is this? Is this thing make any sense? Mr. Costa got the biggest platform. Nobody knew Henry Costa. You know that. I never knew Henry Costa. You never knew Henry Costa until we heard that there was a guy who always on the radio insulting Ellie Johnson. This guy came from, oh, this guy hold every day, he bombarding Ellie. Everybody want to see who's this guy. So that means he started from somewhere. Nobody knew Henry Costa. Okay. Henry Costa started, everybody started following him. There was no Facebook. He started a long time. Today, Henry Costa can brag about 2,000 people watching him. But what Henry don't know, that not everybody that come out and watch your show are your supporters. Not everybody who watch your show and you see their names, they are not your supporters. And majority of these people are not living in Liberia. Majority of them, they are not living in Liberia. Henry Costa said, Mr. Cummings is a foreigner. Oh, to my surprise. This was the same Henry Costa that people said he was a foreigner and he got crazy all the riot. But Henry Costa said, Mr. Cummings a foreigner? Yes, Mr. Cummings is not a foreigner. He's an American. He was an American citizen. I am an American citizen. Henry Costa now, he's a resident and fighting to be an American citizen. You understand? Henry Costa came here, went to school. He ended up getting married to get paper, whether the paper gone through or not. But what he don't realize, everything Henry said about Mr. Cummings is true. Henry said Mr. Cummings worth over $100 million. That's true. We all know. He need not to say it. He need to tell his fans. That is why they hate Mr. Cummings. Because Mr. Cummings did good. A poor man, a poor boy from nowhere, man and power poor, but was able to reach that far by sweat. Bernard Ure don't reach that. Bernard Ure got rich because of stealing. And that is Henry Costa mentor. That is Henry Costa political leader. So then I will ask you, who is Henry Costa? Then you know why I'm talking about Henry Costa? He's a public figure. He ran election, he ran for a office before. Henry Costa lost District 6. After losing District 6, why he want to win, why he want to run in Montserrat? Let somebody tell me. He said Mr. Cummings could not win Maryland and Mr. Cummings want to be president of Liberia. But the last thing I know that Henry Costa lost, Henry Costa lost District 6. But today Henry Costa is talking about running for senator in Montserrat County. Why? You couldn't win District 6. Why you want to win? You think you can win Montserrat? I'm giving a Henry Costa scenario. Mr. Cummings lies, say he don't have a house. Then I question Henry Costa. Mr. Cummings don't have a house. He have a building. Who owned the building? Do you know how many millionaires in America live in an apartment and they pay $1 million for it? Mr. Cummings own buildings in Liberia. Go down to my Gibby area there. Go and see the residents. Go and see what Mr. Cummings is doing. You want to know about Mr. Cummings, but let me say this. It is not an attack on you, Henry. It is your right to support Mr. Boyka. It is your right. But when you come out and lie, then it is a problem. Then it is a problem. If you come out and lie, then it is a problem. So, you saying that Mr. Cummings have no experience. So if Mr. Cummings in Coca-Cola or Pittsburgh Food Company or whatsoever, he was not the leader, why he should be leader in Liberia? That is Henry Costa, who just graduated, a smart guy. Just graduated from college and the other day. But making such argument. Why Mr. Cummings cannot go as senator? Why he should go as senator? Liberian people who run for office is because of the money. Henry, you need not to put your interest first because of your popularity. You are there to serve the people. The people love you. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But if you want to play on your popularity, Henry, you go back to the Bible. Moses was very popular. He came out to help the people of Israel. God commanded him to do it. But God told him that you will only see the promised land for being disrespectful, for going against me. So you will only see, and he saw the promised land and never went there. So God gave you your special gift. You were so popular. You were all on radio, but you lost District 6. You ask yourself why? There's a reason you lost. That's not what God called you for. But today you are fighting. You want to run for senator for Montserrat County. So now we can make the case. If you cannot win District 6, Henry, Do you think you can win Montserrat County? One district you couldn't win it. Can you win 17 districts? You think so? Or do you think Liberian people are so pissed off with George Weah that tomorrow people might carry you? Then I will ask myself the question. I might not be the one to give you enough money to run. I might not be the one to be the best guy you think you might even ask to support you. But my sweat and whatsoever, then I would think twice. Can I support Henry Costa? Or Henry Costa is only there because about his selfishness. He only there to gain. The same people today we criticize other people who support George Weah. Oh, you guys are George Weah fanatic. Oh, you guys are stupidician. But what about the people who don't even read and write and listen to Henry Costa when he gave it all his stories? I admire him when he going after the government. But I disagree with you, Henry, because one, your leader that you support, he's a corrupt guy compared to no other candidate. You can never compare him with Mr. Cummings. The only comparison between Cummings and Ure, that they were created equally. God created two of them. So you disrespect. You say Liberian are poo-poo country, so many Cummings can go there. Cummings is not a citizen. You of all persons saying that Mr. Cummings is not a citizen of Liberia? Are you saying when people came after you and said you are not a citizen, some of us here, we came on our show and defended it and said they're talking to people like us? Are you calling Mr. Cummings? He was an American citizen. He's not even American citizen today. He's not American citizen today. I am American citizen. Naturalized. If you not the first guy that died from Ebola, they consider to be the first American that died. This guy from Liberia, he was a Liberian, but he had an American passport. The America said was the first American that died. You understand, Costa? Right now, you want the American part, you want American citizenship. But your show today was the worst and very disrespectful for a public figure. You have long been doing it. But Henry, you can't make a case like that. You have just lost few of your people. Let me tell you the real truth. You have lost some of your good people who got heads and brains. They got brains in the head and the head on the shoulder. I'm telling you, don't allow your popularity on Facebook to fool you, my brother. Don't do it. Some of us, we're not afraid of people who are popular. I'm talking to you because you're a public figure. You ran for office, and it is my right to criticize you too. But let me say this, Henry. What the show was all about today, because you listen to Mr. Cummings on Sky TV, you listen to Mr. Cummings deliberating and speaking the truth and sounding real, and you said something. You said Mr. Cummings cannot run in place in Liberia that is corrupt. You said it. So you just told us that Liberia is a corrupt place. It's not for Mr. Cummings. It's only for people who are corrupt, like you and Mr. Cummings and Mr. Ure and Mr. Boaka and others. Mr. Boaka told us that he got one house. He built only one house. But today you're telling us that Mr. Boaka built a house in Bombing Hills. He built houses in Lofa County. But Mr. Boaka told the Liberian people that he got only one. So the one that he built was a mud house. So we didn't know nothing about it. You want to impress us that Mr. Cummings, Mr. Boaka did this? Oh, Mr. Cummings did not build a house in Maryland. Then you don't even know about Mr. Cummings. You don't know about Mr. Cummings. Then I will ask you to go and find out about Mr. Cummings. Because your mind is made up that we know exactly, and I will get to that point. I will tell you the real truth today. What I heard before, it is truth. Mr. Cummings was not born in Maryland County. Everybody tries to get to the father counties and whatsoever. At least, say you say Mr. Cummings a foreigner, at least Mr. Cummings have a county. Now, when the people come after you and say, oh, you're a Congo man, but you attached to the Pele people. You understand? You need to stop. Mr. Cummings don't have a county. He don't even have a house. Do you know what Mr. Cummings owned in Maryland County, Henry Costa? Do you know the property Mr. Cummings owned in Liberia? You said that Mr. Cummings never went to Liberia until after 25 years. Henry Costa, you're a liar. Mr. Cummings had been going to Liberia. He has relatives in Liberia that he supported when the war was on. His mom and other people, he brought them to the States. Mr. Cummings, is not his responsibility. The first thing, Henry, you only concerned about yourself. You say Mr. Cummings should go to Maryland and open a processing farm or rubber processing farm. Mr. Cummings ever told you that he want to open a rubber processing farm to do business? Mr. Cummings is involved in different business. When you into this thing, you don't need to open a farm. When did Boaka had his first farm? When Mr. Boaka had a farm? In 12 years, we just get to know this year that Mr. Boaka opened a farm. In 12 years, did Mr. Boaka went in on any farm? Don't be deceitful, Henry. You can't sell Mr. Boaka that way. And other people say, oh, we want to damage the UP, we want to damage the CPP. But when Henry Costa, who is the most popular talk show host, the man who when he demand 2,000, he get 2,000. The man who when he demand this, he can get it, came on to trash another candidate. He called him stranger. He repeating whatever his boss and his political leader says. That is why I believe it today that his political leader is in connection with the CDC government to push Mr. Weah, because when to push Mr. Boaka, because when Mr. Boaka loses the election, Henry Costa will benefit from physical cash, he and his boss. I'm telling the real truth. I don't give a damn how you feel about it. I believe it because from what they said, I've been keeping it, but I saw it today. For you to come out and start to make a statement about Mr. Cummings, a stranger or a foreigner. Mr. Cummings, a foreigner. The other day, people call you a foreigner. They say you're from Portugal, your father, this and that. We came out. People call me the same thing. They use the same name on me. Oh, you're a foreigner. You're a damn Lebanese man. And this and that. Henry, you just graduated the other day. But I don't know what your show was all about today. What I saw in your show was the sound of fear, desperation. That what I saw in you today, that you don't even know where to go. And Henry, if your hope and your political aspiration is on Boaka, you are the loser. I will tell you the real truth today. I'll be honest with you, brother. I will be honest with you. I will be honest with you. I will be very, very honest with you. Whether Henry Costa can be my friend, Tarata, you know me too good. I'm not a stranger. If you go wrong, Tarata, you know I go after you. If I go wrong, you go after me. But this is not about friendship. Liberia is bigger than friendship. For us to take the risks, because all the guys, they all want money now from President Weah, trying to play a dirty game that, oh yes, when we carry Boaka, there will be a smooth ride with him. Show me, Henry. I want you to show me tangibles. The work of Mr. Boaka. You said Mr. Boaka never stole, but you were the same one who said Mr. Boaka was a walking dead, and he and Nukwe, their team was corrupt. You were the same person, and you on tape that they are corrupt. They are no different from Eddie Johnson. You were the same one saying it. Why today now? You see everything you said of Mr. Cummings, you just promoted Mr. Cummings, because you know what? There was nothing corrupt about Mr. Cummings. Nothing corrupt. You only afraid and telling the Liberian people that why we should give Liberia to Mr. Cummings is a stranger. That is fear. So you know what he did? You promoted Mr. Cummings. You showed the world that you are afraid of Mr. Cummings, the entire UP afraid, along with Bernard Ure. No, we can't get that. You never said he was corrupt. You admitted that Mr. Cummings he worth millions of dollars. But Mr. Cummings don't talk about it. Mr. Cummings millions of dollars. It is not. Now you say Mr. Cummings could not win. Bernard Ure could not even win Carisburg. Your godfather, your political leader, you ran campaign for him. He could not even win Carisburg. He had 24,000 votes in the whole country. Cummings that came from nowhere had over 125,000. You see that? And you ran campaign. You hire your representative, your direct representation in Bombing Hills, and Edwin Snow weeping like a dog. You could not rescue him. Bernard Ure could not do nothing, so Bernard Ure could not even win one seat. And you're talking about Mr. Cummings winning seat? Who was the #1 supporter on Taylor Ure, but yet said she don't win? And the news that going around, they said because of you, Taylor Ure lost Looking Town, District 15. That was the news going around. They said because of you. Henry, you got to slow down, my brother. Don't allow popularity to destroy you. Because what you're doing now, you are above. You acting no different now, like you are the king. You will broadcast, and the people you broadcast, let me tell you something, and I want to let you guys know today, this is not an insult. It is not nothing, and I don't give a damn if Henry come out tomorrow and say I'm trying to be relevant, but I don't give a F about it. But the fact here, I want you to listen to the Henry Costa show and tells me whenever people calling from Liberia, I can tell you the first name that call, Noah Zawu Gibson. These are the same name, repeated names that call from Liberia. Don't let nobody fool you guys. How many Liberians listen to Facebook in Liberia? Why you think Henry Costa is still pushing for his radio station? Because he knows that's where the message goes. He knows that very well. I don't envy Henry Costa. I don't feel he don't feel me. But when it comes to politics, we are totally different. And I will see him tomorrow. I will talk to him. I will lecture him if I see him. Henry Costa is not my friend. When I say friend, he's not a friend that I can call. He called me that what they call friend now. We just acquaintance on politics because of politics. So tomorrow he can come up and say something different, and I will listen to the show. And when he says something different, I will come back again and say it. If he go personal, I will go personal. But he's a public figure. He ran for office before. So since he ran for office, he could not even win District 6. Why you want to run for senator? And you're talking about Mr. Cummings could not win Maryland County. Henry, you are very disrespectful today. Very, very disrespectful. The person you are supporting, your political leader, he's corrupt. You can't compare your political leader with Mr. Cummings. Why would you do that? I listened to your entire show. You said nothing negative about Cummings. And let me tell you the real truth. You promoted Mr. Cummings. You said Liberia is a dirty place, it's a corrupt place, so Mr. Cummings can't work in that situation. And you praised Mr. Cummings. You said Mr. Cummings got millions, over 100 million. Let me make you understand. He got over 100 millions. That is why Mr. Ure and others are afraid that if Mr. Cummings is the president, he will stop the chopping. No, you don't get it yet. You ain't get it. That if Mr. Cummings, the next president, he will stop the chopping. And what they don't understand, that if Mr. Cummings is on the CPP ticket, those that are sitting on the fence, the disenchanted seditionists, the disenchanted people from UP and whatsoever will follow Mr. Cummings. But they are afraid, because when you hear them speaking like this, it's all fear. It's all fear, desperation. That is why Henry Costa is speaking this way. He's afraid. He listened to Mr. Cummings. Everybody say, wow, Mr. Cummings today again, he did it. When will Mr. Boaga come out to speak to Liberian people? Are you people, you speaking for Liberians? You say you advocating for Liberia, for a better Liberian, but yet you pushing the same old regime on the Liberian people. No, Henry Costa, listen to me, please. You pushing the same corrupt people on the people. You say Mr. Boaga is not corrupt. You say Mr. Boaga is not corrupt, but you said that he was corrupt. Your political leader said Mr. Boaga was damn corrupt. I'm quoting you and your political leader. You had a tip where you say they called me and they want me to support them in the second round. Their team is very corrupt. You supported George Weah. After you knew that President Weah could not make it, you met President Weah and you supported him. That's a good thing. You decided to support the president. Then I want to believe that maybe you and he never came to an agreement. You'll never finish everything. So that is why you decided to back off. Henry, you giving us something that you think because your people, and I saw your little podcast, and everybody who were making comments were either from UP or was your so-called supporters. But I recognize three. I recognize three of your supporters, people who support you. They fare bad. In fact, one person called me this morning I never knew about this show. I never watch it. The person said, man, Costa just turned me off. I said, what? He said, listen, man, I don't know. I like this dude. But I don't know. Apparently, he never planned, or he just got up on the bad side and start to say something. To start to say something. But when Henry Costa then come up and trashing other candidates, nobody said nothing. When these other guys come up and trash one candidate to show they are afraid, George Lobo will go against Mr. Cummings. When Francis Doe ready on Mr. Cummings, when Obi ready, he on Mr. Cummings insulting. Prophet Key ready, he on Mr. Cummings. Henry Costa on Mr. Cummings. Nobody said nothing. But when we try to compare the two candidates, oh, y'all want to bring division into CPP. Y'all want to bring division. But you guys don't understand why they are doing it. It's in their own interest. Especially for Ure, he playing a double game. Ure is the double-edged sword. So Ure is looking at it, you know, he's in contact with George Weah. At the same time, he won for and Ure and Bwaka. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me, Mama, I'm not like you. In politics, you beg, you ask for votes, you tell people, you don't sit down, they come to you. And even if I say I want Henry Costa myself, that doesn't mean I can't speak the truth to Henry Costa. What I am not like you. I'm not like the people who are afraid to tell people the truth. I'm not afraid. You understand? And this is not the first time for me to attack Henry Costa. And I met him 3 Saturdays again. We talk like a gentleman. So I'm not afraid. And if Henry Costa come to CPP, come to Cummings today, I would know that he have learned his lesson and he came over. He has seen the light. You understand? So it's not because I want Henry Costa to come and support Mr. Cummings, that means I should bear my back. No, I'm not that type. You understand? You yourself, if you come to Mr. Cummings today, that means you have seen the truth. You have seen the truth. So just relax and contact the last comment and the last response to you. So this is the thing. I listened to the Costa show again. Costa promoted Mr. Cummings. Let me tell you today. It was a very good promotion. He never told the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings was corrupt. He never told the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings was not qualified. He never told the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings would damage Liberia if he's president. All he said that why we should give the country to Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings never show up. So Henry Costa telling me that when Mr. Cummings used to go to Liberia, he was supposed to look for Henry Costa and say, Henry, I came to see my family. Mr. Cummings don't need to be like Mr. Costa, who got big mouth, who talk whole day. Mr. Cummings don't need to be like Mr. Ure, who steal government money and he rich. Henry Costa and Ure could not pull off Carisbrooke. He was defeated in Carisbrooke. He never even came second in Carisbrooke. Go back. In Montserrat County, ANC came third. In Carisbrooke, he said Mr. Cummings came 6th place in Maryland. You lie again, Henry Costa. Go back and look at your records. In Carisbrooke, on Bernard Ure farm, right in front of the farm, where they had the boots, Mr. Cummings defeated Bernard Ure right in that same place. Mr. Cummings is a new guy. I agree. He's a new man. But do you think that Mr. Cummings is a new man still? You trying to replace Mr. George Weah with Joe Bwaka? A George Weah don't beat you. Never ever trust me. Because this coming election will be maybe 4 or 5 candidates. This coming election. It won't be no 22 candidates. Let me tell you the real truth. The candidate will not be more than 5. Everybody who got small political parties going to merge with other parties. I will tell you that. And if you think taking Momodu Godfather against George Weah, you'll be making a mistake. You'll be making a mistake because they will bring up his entire record. The vice president told us that he built only one house, and at the house he been living in throughout since he came to Monrovia. But Mr. Costa told us today Mr. Bwaka built 2 houses in Lofa County, in Bopolu, and another. He said he got one in Bopolu or right by the border there, and he got one in the other place, according to Harry. And he got a house in Bombing Hills. Mr. Boaka got 2 farms. When does Mr. Boaka open his farm? When? Mr. Cummings don't have to get a farm. He don't need it. But Mr. Cummings support more farmers in Liberia than Mr. Boaka. When you ever saw Mr. Boaka going on his farm when he was vice president? No. Can you show me Mr. Boaka's record? The oversight, his oversight responsibility, the group of 77, lottery and other stuff. Can you show me what's the improvement for the last 12 years? Mr. Boaka made $24 million in 12 years. Henry Costa, do you know all these things, or you just decided that because since I'm supporting Mr. Boaka, I will just say things because I got 4,000 people watching me. By the time I finish, it will be 50,000 people, and they will all believe me. Henry, you lying. Not everybody I watch you, but it didn't mean I'm your supporter. You know what I'm saying? I listen to you, and what you do, I say yes. Maybe you don't know you're important. Do you think? Ask yourself sometimes if God really called you to be into politics. Do you think that based on your popularity you can win election? Maybe that's not what God had for you, my brother. That is not what God. You don't need to have a voice at the table before you support someone. You see, like us, we don't need it. When I started supporting Mr. Cummings, I never knew him, and up to present, I want to talk to Mr. Cummings on Zoom. I've never met Mr. Cummings to sit and we shake hands. But I don't need it. Mr. Cummings need me. That's why I supported him, because I want his expertise. I love his agenda. I love Mr. Cummings' agenda. His blueprint for Liberia, that's what I love. It's not about Mr. Cummings. It's not because I ain't seen no other politician. If I wanted a seat from the table, you supported George Weah 2011 when your boss Tottenham, and we all know Tottenham just wanted to be, wish he could be president at the time, because he's another one too. But I had the same opportunity with President Weah if I wanted a seat at the table. You might think, people say, oh, Mooney was just a photographer or videographer, but I spend more time with President Weah than anything in a close proximity. We speak, we talk, we meet when nobody's around. He called me, fly up to Florida and spend a weekend. Go and ask Modu Masekwe. He will tell you. Me, I can call him and give witnesses. But that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for real leaders. Real leadership in Liberia. Did you ask Mr. Boaka what are some of the opportunities that was squandered by them? Today you say Mr. Boaka is the good man. He's not corrupt. But you sit every day and tell the Liberian people that UP is corrupt. You say apart from Mr. Boaka. So then Mr. Henry Costa, then I think you corrupt too. You only say Mr. Boaka is not corrupt. But the people who supported Mr. Boaka, like your political leader, is corrupt. You can't compare him with Cummings. And I love the show today. Let me tell the real truth. The only thing I just advising you that don't make yourself look bad. I enjoy the show. Some people were mad. I told the people from ANC, do not react. Nobody should react on this thing. It's a very good promotion. But I have to tell the Liberian people, where was the promotion worth? You said Mr. Cummings worth $1 million, 100 million. It's true, he worth over 100 million. You said Mr. Cummings, he's not a Liberian. Yes, he was an American citizen like Ellen, like even President Weah was an American citizen, and he's not an American citizen again. Mr. Cummings is not an American citizen, but he can come to America anytime. Yes, Mr. Cummings got a very big house in America where he lived. He worked in America, so he filed taxes. When you look on my stuff, they will tell you American, I got an American passport, but I'm a Liberian. I am a Liberian. The people say you, Henry Costa, was not a Liberian. So you accept it that you're not a Liberian? You accept it that you are not a Liberian? You say Mr. Cummings could not even win Maryland County, then he want us to give him the whole country. Maryland County, he couldn't win it. Y'all listen to the thing here. They make him win Maryland County. But Henry Costa, you ran in District 6. District 6 is part of Montserrat. They whip you in District 6. Then you want to win, you want to run as senator? Oh, your little popularity. But let me give you the news. in a COP, they made out of different groups. The only people you're going to take from the COP is the one who they call you the custodian or custodian or something. The ones then who believe in you, who don't look at facts, or they know. Then why do you get pissed off with George Weah that seditionists are dying for George Weah? Your own supporter dying for you. And guess what? Not the people in CPP going to follow you, Henry. You see, let me tell you this again. You're still getting it wrong. Costa, I monitor your show most of the time, and I listen to see how many person call from Liberia. The amount of people that call from Liberia are the same people every day. If you put a test now, we pass. Your first caller, 90% of the time, your first caller is Noah Zawu Gibson. Then you get Poker Robert then coming in, and you get other people coming in. I think they on speed dial, or maybe you can call them, or they call you. But sometimes the same voices. I don't hear any other person really calling from somewhere to say, oh, this and this and this. When you on your show, when you against the government, yes, you gave your good message. That's what I like. You bring the government faults out. But when you tell me you supporting Bwaka and you supporting Ure, then I question your account, your integrity, my brother. I question it. So you see, this is the thing. That you using your popularity to get into power, and when you get into power, you done with everybody, because you might be, because you say most of the time, and I listen to you all the time, that you will be a dictator, Henry. If the people don't be careful, you'll be you'll be a dictator, because from the way some people, the way you behave to people, shutting them off when they're not giving you the right message, and when they come on your show, the way you cut them off and whatsoever, yes. So, but if your political aspiration is on Bwaka, you hang into the wrong place. You on the wrong place. Don't let Momolu fool you. Momolu, they know they were there before. They enjoy it. So that's why they won't go back there again. They think that they own it. The common man in Liberia don't want UP. Don't want UP. And you guys think that you always say it and Mr. Cummings will walk out. You lie. Mr. Cummings will not leave the CPP. Yes, CPP, if it will break up, it will come between Bwaka, maybe the Liberty Party, and Liberian people will know who's the cause. And then we will be ready. You see, our hands are tied. Our hands are tied. That's why we're not attacking the way we're supposed to. Our hands are tied. That's it. But it's not because our hands are tied and we're in the same group, so we must show you guys some tough love. So I like your show today. Let me tell you the real truth, although it makes sense to a lot of people, but I was enjoying it. I said, but Henry Costa is promoting Mr. Cummings indirectly, because everything he's saying is not lying. Mr. Cummings don't need to go to Liberia and take his money and build something. Henry Costa said Mr. Cummings should go open a processing farm for rubber in Liberia and do business. Okay. Bernard Ure uses corrupt money to do business, and the business going down. Bernard Ure uses corrupt money and build houses all over the place. And what happened today? Do you know what Mr. Cummings owns in our country? You say Mr. Cummings live in a building. Do you know how many millionaires in America live in an apartment building? You think it got to be a house by itself? Mr. Cummings have a building that not even on a rent. He alone live in a building, my brother. It's not an apartment. He live in a building. If you ever went in the suite of Mr. Cummings, you would never think that you in Liberia. That building have elevator and 24/7 current. He's a millionaire. That is why you people are afraid that he will stop your chopping. So Mr. Bwaka is vulnerable. Mr. Bwaka is just there, and you guys think that you will behave like how Akara Grace treated George Weah and others that don't talk. We will do it. No, Heron, you're wrong. That is why from today's date, we will say it. Whenever you're a political figure, you're a politician. You're not just an advocate, you're a politician. You ran before, so you're in a public space, and we'll scrutinize you every day. You can scrutinize me every day, I don't care. I'm not running for office. I got nothing to lose. You got something to lose. And if you think that, you see, let me tell you something. Do you know why Pharaoh said they should get rid of all the boys? He was afraid that the people born in too much will overpower him. Don't you know that one or man or woman should be able to sit, then crawl, then walk and run and talk and do other things? Don't worry about your 10,000 supporters you have. Don't worry about your 10,000 supporters. Your 10,000 supporters are not the people who there might put their life on the line or might go to Liberia to vote. Most of them, they are out of the country like us. You understand? So when we're in Liberia and we're going from place to place, Henry, what you don't understand, I've not seen ready campaigning in Liberia. During the last elections, you were all on radio every day, and most of the people that they just listen to you. I don't see you in no, and you sometimes brag about it. I don't need to go to Pinsville to go run campaign. And after you lost the election, you insulted the people in District 7, in District 6. I don't see you going to no other district to campaign. But that's why, like Momodu said, I'm begging Henry Costa to come over. No, I'm begging Henry Costa to see the truth. You understand? I'm not forcing him, begging him to see the truth for the sake of Liberia, because if nobody tells him, he will continue. You understand? For you, Momodu, I can still tell you, you need to come over to see the truth. You are a qualified man. If you still want to work in government, you will work in government. For us, we're not qualified, so we're not working in government. We're not qualified people. We don't want government job. We're third grade students. And you know, as I just say, but we're not nothing. But our little ideas, and we're giving you the advice, we try to just conscientize you, to rehabilitate you guys to come back in society. The name UP is not a good name in Liberia. Let me be honest with you. You saw, if you listen to the show today, this morning, a boy called. He said, listen, I'm a George Weah fanatic any day, anytime. He said, but I admire Mr. Cummings. I listen to Mr. Cummings. And every day this man go on radio. He's real. He don't pretend. Mr. Cummings said, listen, I make my money for myself. I can drop and die today. You're not going to carry me nowhere. Talking about Mr. Cummings left Liberia and came back in 25 years. That's a lie. You just took the script from Ben-Ayure. That is the Ben-Ayure script that Henry Costa played today. Ben-Ayure and Henry Costa and Cummings were not body friends. You have seen Cummings before. Cummings been going to Liberia when the war started. He been helping his people. Make sure his people left the country like any other person. What are you expecting to do? Did Mr. Ure ever went in refugee camp to help any Liberians? Mr. Ure helped people who he wanted to help. He helped all his rebel children. They used to call him the day by the man. At the same time, he make his own money, steal from the government, steal from the people, and it is proven. He got a record in America. He's on treasure ban because of his corrupt attitude. They are all corrupt, and you supporting a corrupt man, and you want to trash an honest and decent man. And you know what I like about the whole show, when you said Mr. Cummings cannot work in Liberia because Liberia is a corrupt place. So Mr. Cummings, it's not for Mr. Cummings. I like that show. Let me tell you, I love that show that you did today. But some people ain't understanding. It was a good promotion. You said Liberia is so corrupt. Oh, because Liberia are poo plantoon. Man, and Mr. Cummings will go there to go work. Why you going here yourself to come to Liberia to go work, Mr. Cummings? Liberia is a dirty place. Liberia is a poo plantoon place. Only corrupt people can survive. Mr. Cummings can. Listen, Costa. Only Mr. Bwaka can survive in a corrupt government. Mr. Cummings will not survive. Wow. Henry Pedro Costa. Henry Pedro Costa. Only Mr. Bwaka can survive in a corrupt government, not Mr. Cummings. That was a good show you had today. People were mad. Oh, this and that. Trust me. I will carry it. I just downloaded it. I will replay it for people. I will break it down. Listen, if you want to come on, I'm using my iPad, so you have to go like this, and then before you log on. You understand? So you got to log off and then. Okay, try and come up. If you're not coming up, I'm going to try the next person. Okay, Morris. How are you, Morris?
I'm okay, OG.
Everything.
Yeah.
You're looking tired because you can work in the night. You're looking tired, my man.
Yeah. I'm really tired. Sure. You know. Thank you for the topic on the discussion. I always follow you, and I always appreciate you. You know, for Brother Costa, because for him, really, for me, I don't really like to watch it most of a podcast like that, because most of the followers always complain about him. You know, if Costa let somebody, he will never look in the person's face and tell them the truth. We can remember during the election, Costa were against and Joseph Waka, calling Joseph Waka all kind of way. But today because he don't support Mr. Kumi, so that's the reason now he follow and Joseph Waka say, oh yeah, Joseph Waka is the best man for the country. But the past time he was telling, he said, oh, Joseph Waka was their man walking. But today he want for to take the their man and make all the president for Mama Liberia. So to tell you, say Costa them they are not in the interest of the country. The only thing Costa to do it because he hate Joe Weah. The hatred that he get for Joe Weah. So he don't care. He don't even care for the people in the country. He don't even, because if he care for your own country or the poor people that live in that country, I don't think he will give up Joseph Waka for him to go become president for that country. The mayor can be seen that he been sleeping. The mayor worked for 12 good years. He don't do nothing in the country there. The men that take our agriculture machine, what Libya gave him for him to go to do in your own country. Today, what we hear from him at the end, he said that stranded all our opportunity. That the kind of man that Costa pushing on us for to go make him president. Somebody like doing something because the man made mistake. He joined the putting four political party together. So the man is doing something in the country for them to talk, for you to come on social media and talk about it. He don't talking about it. The only thing he talking about, oh yeah, the man are fit to become president. But Joseph Waka, the Joseph Waka like you want for Joseph Waka to become president, 12 good years. What is different the man show to all? Nothing. No different, I mean, and no difference. Nothing Joseph Waka can show that he did for young people. Nothing he can show. He say, oh yeah, during the 12 years, I serve my people. See the kind of development I do in my own country, or see the impact that doing young people life. Nothing. There is a kind of person. You Costa pushing on the Liberian people. He think that the Liberian people stupid. We are not a stupid people. So let him stop doing doing what he's doing. Say if he forming or he go forming pay, if he getting rich from the stupid Liberian people, and those that don't get news for that money there, but they will take every time they be giving it to Kosa, because I either come and insult them, they don't want to know the news of that money. So let Kosa stop doing that kind of thing to all. Then he stop it. Then he say that right here in America, when if he want for Joseph Boakai to become president, then you go bring a fellow, how you call himself, Bernard Yue, a step fellow, then they go fund out of the country, let Joseph Boakai become president, but I don't think so for Mama Liberia. Because me, I can tell anybody, if Mr. Kumi are going to be patient, that they will make it and that of Kase, it was going to merge at this all the Liberian people that was sitting on the fair, most of them are going to join a party to go and vote for them. Because one, he don't have any corruption, something on him that of Kase to not get nothing on him. I think that with the Liberian people that sitting on the fence, I think we all were going to follow them. Say, I think that's what that was going to be the best. That for you to go and join the same real what the people when you get and when you get Joseph Boakai, you get Nomi Kanga, then you get how you call it Bernard Yue. What still the Liberian poor money today? You say he the richest man in Liberia. You know all the things that he live on is calling the Liberian poor car roaches. So because he's still from the Liberian poor, so they both telling he the richest man. But we agree, he the richest man. But if I was sweat on him, all the money that is still in our country, if we is our Liberian with the Liberian post sweat that he take, he's still on a far way. He will never become president in our country. We will swear him. We will keep swearing him until today. Tomorrow, today, he will never become president in our country. What course I want to achieve for you to become president, because one time he declare, he say, oh yeah, when he reach 50, he want to rise as president. But if he's joking, then he just sit down where they was saying where his stepfather born, like people will say him. A woman would not rush on him, because even the community, something say like he run, but he couldn't win. That when he run away, he can't sit down in America. Then he keeps saying that there. But with the Liberian people, we are not stupid people. We're not stupid people, Costa. You steal the Liberian people money and he keeps stealing from them. So keep stealing. Keep to be your GoFundMe page. Keep lying. Because you hear Joe we are not doing nothing. Joe we are the little one. You not call Joe we are my call. Joe we are my not call. Joe we are you not get tired. You say, oh yeah. Even when you sleep today, you wake up, you get one scene that Joe we are die. But you don't think that you die before Joe we are. Because all our frustration making today when you even get on a platform or a fail ramble now. Because why? You get into for one person. So you get the frustration of everybody. You want to look at somebody that will be sitting and be sleeping, that the person you want to push on up. Because we are not a stupid person. So just see that what you are seeing now, when you wake up when Joseph Boakai to do, no, I don't even see because even see a United Party people running away from him. United Party people I know people I know that being the United Party, they are running away from Joseph Boakai. Then you say they're pushing Joseph Boakai on the people. You and the other brother here in America say, how you call him say? How you call the boss there, man? Only on Spoon TV.
Keep. No. George Lobo.
George, who that they are pushing Joseph Boakai when they ask them, they say, oh, the 12 years like Joseph Barker spent, what Joseph Barker do? He don't even get nothing to say, nothing to tell the Liberian people. He will tell, oh yeah, they may bring 157 truck to Liberia. Now all 12 good year, 12 good year, 12 good year. Nothing I mean Joseph Barker do. It's not only that 12 years, but 42 years in government. Nothing can show. Then you wake up and you say, oh yeah, he living on a loan. That loan you'll be living on.
All right.
We should wake up, we give you another 6 years. We can't do that kind of thing. That's just about to go sleep. Then just if you want to be eating a pension money, then you be eating it until God can call him. But then you forget about that era. He began president. I didn't go shot on him. He began a vice president. Then he carried out all of title there. But then you forgot about the president part. He cannot become president.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Compare yourself with the American president. Then you go sleep. We're not ready yet.
Thank you very much, Maurice. Thank you. I appreciate your comment.
We're going to come and do something for the Liberian people.
Okay.
We're not looking for somebody that will be walking, be sleeping, will be pushing, you know. We're not Oka. We're not ready to be pushing Oka, yeah?
Okay, take care now. Thank you very much.
Parking in the garage.
Thank you.
Any parking.
Okay.
So thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Take a rest. Okay. Yes. Listen. He's a sedition. And he's saying the truth. We all was against Mr. Cummings joining the CPP. But it's already happened. Mr. Cummings stands a better chance to be a CPP leader to win than Mr. Barker. Don't let nobody fool you. I'm telling you. We shouldn't let nobody fool us. If we really want to win, we better look for our good team. You can even carry Mr. Cummings as VP. No way. Talking about Mr. Cummings were not the leader of Coca-Cola, but in Liberia, he won't be the leader of Liberia. What about Ure, who wanted to be the leader of Liberia when he could not even run Maritime correctly? And that, you see, I love that show. I love Costa's show today. Let me tell you the real truth. I love it and I listen to it keenly. And I will tell you, if anybody think Mr. Costa was crazy today, I like it because he promoted Mr. Cummings. There was nothing negative that Mr. Cummings, a foreigner, nobody gonna buy. Mr. Cummings and get no house in Liberia, nobody gonna buy. The first he said Mr. Cummings living in an apartment, he renting an apartment. Costa, you live in a place here. Henry, what are you saying? Mr. Henry Cummings has spent more money in Liberia, more than Bernard Ure in his entire life. Mr. Cummings has spent more money in Liberia in the shortest time that you said that he was not a foreigner. He was working. You wanted him to take a salary and give it to you, or bring it to Liberia, or Bernard Ure want to be the only rich man in Liberia? So you see, if Mr. Cummings become president, he will be the first rich president. He will be the first Liberian that is rich and become president. Because Mr. Cummings' agenda do not cover the politicians, the corrupt ones. Mr. Cummings' agenda do not cover men like Bernard Ure. It do not cover men like Bernard Ure. It cover the ordinary Liberians. You understand? So that is the real truth. That's what pissing them off. What's up, Josh?
Mr. Kishan.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
How are you?
Well, brother, we can't complain, man. Thank you for everything too. I see you pushing that man hard. But anyway, let's get to the topic.
Yeah.
On the discussion. Yep.
I listen to your I'm listening to your conversation, and this is what I talk to people about. People claim, or sometimes Aaron Costa claimed to be the smarter person. He thinks he's a smart person, but this is how I look at someone who's considered himself to be smart, right? If someone is a smart person, when you have to look at the person's decision making, the skills, look at the decision making process of the person. For instance, talk about disresist. Aaron Costa ran in disresist, did not win the election. What did he do next? He started insulting everyone in disresist, telling the people, or because I did not build, schools, or because I did not build hospitals, so you guys did not build it. When on the rampage, insulting everybody in disresist. So that tells you that this person is not a smart person. Coming on radio station and talking irrespectively doesn't mean you are smart. Being smart, we should look at the decision-making process of that person. But a smart person who ran an election and did not win, they're going to do two things. They're going to do one program evaluation. What did I do wrong? Why I did not win the election? What are some of the things I need to do differently in order to win the election? You're not doing any of those things because it's not a smart person. The second thing you're going to do is organizational review. You have to look at the structure of your organization, and you have to look at the people that you brought on board. What are some of the challenges that you are talking about? But you did not do those things. Another thing I want to point out. President Weir at that time, George Weir, called on Aaron Costa to look. I knew you were supporting this person, and this person did not win the election, so I moved to join my team. And he recorded President Weir, George Weir at that time, reviewed to him. That shows he's not ethically responsible. You don't record people or prove to them. He recorded President Weir, George Weir at that time, and then he went and played in the game and started looking forward. They said, oh, this guy called me one thing. It's not a good thing. That's what the leader does. He felt that, look, the party did not win, so I'm trying to rally people to bring them forward, and that's what the president reached out to you. To tell you, say, hey, your guy did not win, but I want you to come and join my team. When he saw it, like, whoa, you got a lot of this chip on his shoulder. You guys who are close to him, you got to talk to him. But you having a lot of people listening to you money, it doesn't mean that those people that listen to you going to translate into votes. That's what he doesn't get. So when he sees like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people listen to him, then he brags about it and says he got the larger talk shows to listen to him. But no, sometimes people want to listen to you because they want to hear what you have to say. For me, I'm sponsoring this. I'm sponsoring this government. I'm part of this government. I'm a supporter of this president, and Cummings going to stand a chance in 2029. Let me just tell you first. So I see you talking about Cummings. Cummings is a good guy. I like some of the things he talked about, but he still have time. He can work around it because I know he may have a chance to win a presidential election in 2029, but not 2023. We have to win his second term. And you see what my president is doing here. Everything is not perfect. 174 years in country. So some of the things we're doing, we know things are challenging for now, but coming to one day become president out of 2029, that's something I'm looking at.
Okay, I will hold your issue for our next time, because I'm not going to go into no argument here about you and your 2029 or your whatsoever. Where after the CPP or whosoever, we get to that point, so don't worry about it here. We're not swimming. Listen, we're not swimming. We just look at the river. None of us get in the river yet, so relax. We know whether to get alligator there, so don't worry yet.
You look at Cummings in the opposition. I don't know why he merged with those guys, honestly, because he got a clean character, he got the competencies, he got the finances. He has to watch his decision-making process too. He has to watch people that he brings on his team. You understand? You have somebody who just hit 45 and just got a bachelor's degree, try to insult somebody who is a reputable man who worked honestly for his money. You got a person who does not have anything on his resume. Can you tell me what kind of job experience this guy has on his resume? And running around insulting competent, psychiatrist people. You look at who's insulting him because maybe he may have different perspective on issues. I'm happy about him. 40 or 45 years old, man, just got a bachelor degree, and he's happy about that. That's something good. But Cummings has to watch the decision-making process for himself, who he's going to bring on board. And I'm going to wish him luck in 2029. And I hope you guys win election in 2029 after my second term. So thank you, Mr. Kishan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, my man. Take care of the kids.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
That is Joshua Bernard from all the way Minnesota. Smart man. We call him the smartest basketball. Yeah. But look, everybody knows Mr. Cummings is the best. Everybody knows that. Some people mad why Mr. Cummings have to join the CPP. It happened. I myself a pisser, but there's a reason. You know, we can't get rid of all politicians, which is the saying that to know a great leader is what you do behind closed door, because that's how people know. Because most of the leaders, they do some corrupt stuff behind closed door. But I will say this again, you know, most of our people, you know, they get some people who will cause problems, and after you try to react, and then the person who caused the problem, who they're causing the problem for, will come to you and say, oh my man, you not need to answer that man there because you just breaking division. You're not supposed to say nothing. Listen, me tell you today, I will make it clear to you guys today. I don't give a damn. I speak what is on my mind, and I speak what is right for Liberia. You might not see it right, I see it right. So I will speak what is right. If CPP want to lead Liberia, they must have a clean candidate. We must bring somebody who is clean, somebody who is prepared to solve the Liberian problem, not to defend or protect corrupt politicians like Bernard Ure. Either Bernard Ure must change his ways and open a new page and do what is right. That's all I will say. So, if I tell you that Costa show today, it make nothing different to me. I only had to speak about it to just show you guys where the promotion were. Because he promoted Mr. Cummings big time. Big time he promoted Mr. Cummings. If anybody who were against Mr. Cummings took something from there and changed their mind. Because I said, the other guy, the boss said, my man, I can't believe Costa, what his problem? I said, what? He said, you won't watch the show? I said, no. I said, forward to me. He said, my man, the men were all on Mr. Cummings today. He can't do that. He's just talking about the man, how the men are foreign, the men are foreigner, the men are this, the men are that. You know, Costa feel that he's the only one who do research. I research Mr. Cummings more than Mr. Cummings himself. I can tell you, you only look at one. And you want to know about him? Mr. Cummings got share. He bought share in Bean Capital. And then I know small man. You say he worth over $100 million. But he don't brag about it. He worked for it. He worked for it. He was not appointed based on merit. He deserved it. He was appointed based on competence. Eh? He worked for it. All the 5 million, 6 million bonuses they gave him, he earned it. He earned it. It was not something that they say, oh, Mr. Cummings, we got to post one black guy there. Yes, Mr. Cummings had American citizenship. Like any other Liberians. I myself got American citizenship. Joshua had American citizenship. That is why he couldn't come to court here. And he turned it in. Costa knows that very well. And I bet you, Costa got resident. Costa got a resident right now. Don't be surprised in the next 5 years he will get a citizenship and go to Liberia. He will do that. You know, that is what makes you to be a great leader is what you do behind closed door. So what Costa doing behind closed door and want to come out and portray other people and make them look bad? Oh, Mr. Cummings can't even win Maryland. They asked him in Maryland, do you have property in Maryland? I was born in Maryland. I got land in Maryland, but I don't have a house in Maryland. I don't need to build a house in Maryland. If I want for people to know me in Maryland, I got brothers in Maryland. I got brother in Maryland. If I want for people to know me, I only need to go to Maryland and go live there for 1 or 2 months. Everybody will know me. Everybody will know me. Mr. Cummings was not born in Maryland. His father from Maryland. Mr. Cummings left to go hustle like any Liberian and made it. Hard work. Hard work. Why you Henry Costa never stay in Liberia to go to University of Liberia? But you came to America to go to school in America. Because you wanted that thing. Mr. Cummings can't win Maryland, but he won president of Liberia. You listen to yourself. Mr. Ure couldn't even win his neighborhood. He never won. He never even took second place there. Neither third place, neither fourth place. In his neighborhood. Where they had almost 5 polling centers. He never came up to 5th. He was not even there. He barely had votes. But Henry Costa was running campaign for Mr. Ure. Henry Costa was the big guy on Facebook, on radio, saying this and that and that. Today, people after him, people enjoy him. We listen to him. Everybody on Facebook listen to him. That following thing is nothing, Henry Costa. Don't look at the following thing. Some people follow you, they don't even know again when they're following you. So it's staying nothing, Henry. They're not living in Liberia. All these people don't live in Liberia. You bring things up, the people raise money for you, they do this. But don't allow your popularity to go through your head, Henry. Please. Don't do it. Don't do it. Going after Mr. Cummings, stick to the issue and go after Mr. Cummings. But what you were saying today, some people were mad, but it was good for me. It was good. You say Liberia is corrupt. Mr. Cummings do not fit the system. Mr. Boaka is the only person who can work in a corrupt system. But he never changed it. He never even tried to change it. He never even told us that whether he made an attempt and the president refused to listen to him. So you see, that was a good thing that Costa did today to promote Mr. Cummings. How are you, my man?
How you doing, sir, man?
Not bothering you. Okay. Give me your thought, bro.
I think I don't know why they think keep the.
You freezing up, my man? You to a bad place or what? Okay, go ahead.
What happened? They think keep.
Okay, I can see you good, but you freezing up.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, but people, what I was thinking here is I was thinking, you know, I think I really want Mr. Cummings in everything that we do as a CPP. But my only concern here is, and not to take on for Costa or anything, but I just wonder that, you know, some of the things he was saying, I was just looking at it. You know, we have a couple of people that came from straight overseas to just to make my point, you know, some people that came from like the Ellie Johnson Sleeve, Ambassador Weir, and they took over the leadership. And we're still having a lot of issues and then gravitating to the actual issues, the actual problems that Liberians have. So I think, you know, I know you big brother money, you know, you big brother, and you know, you used to look at the Turbo administration. Turbo served with Tubman for a good number of time before he took on, and he became, I think he became one of the remarkable president of the country. So I was thinking, like, why Mr. Cummings don't go that route?
Okay, let me say this. Your idea might be right, but let me say this. The first thing, Talbot never just took over from Tubman. Tubman died, and then Talbot took over. Talbot was never going to be president of Liberia. Talbot was never going to be president of Liberia when Tubman was going to be alive. Because Grams was the next president. He was the protege. That was the man he was training. But according to the constitution, when the president died, the next man is the vice president. So it was not like Talbot ran for president, because Talbot never had confidence in Talbot at all. Talbot, because there were a lot of things that were going on with the Talbot family. So that is another day's story. Now, two, Mr. Bwaka, you want to go there? You want to go there where Mr. Bwaka served as vice president for 12 years and whatsoever. Mr. Cummings came from abroad. Mr. Cummings came from abroad. He have experience. He's a Liberian. Every Liberian has the right to run. George Weah left and went and played football and came back to Liberia. He retired. Ellen Johnson left. She worked. She decided to come back to work to run for president. She ran. But I want to ask you this question: have you seen any one of them platform or blueprint of Liberia? Any one of them ever told us what they would do? Even Ellen Johnson never told the Liberian people what she was going to do for Liberia. All she knows, she taking on a broken system and she going to fix it. Up to present, Ambassador Bwaka never told us what he will do if he's president. All we know, we say ART, agriculture, road, tourism, sanitation. How are you going to pay for it? No, nobody ever told us. No politician told us anything. Even George Weah. But let a man who we say coming from one of the best systems, who work honestly, work in a place like you myself in America, who don't have no man, no power yet to tell you, say on your job, they gave you the job because your sister working there. No. He retired. He make his money, he go home. He decided to get into politics. Why he in politics? He's still doing personal things. Everybody accepted him. But when the time for this whole election, then you telling him that, oh my man, why you can't go as VP? Nowhere in the world anybody ever run for VP. Nobody run for VP. VP don't have an agenda. When I am the standard bearer, then I will look for a VP. But nobody ever came out in life and say, I'm going to run for VP. The only people who fight for VP position, there are people who don't know. Wait until they choose you. Now, Mr. Bwaka, you can't tell me because he spent 12 years as VP, that means he's experienced. No. No. VP, you just there. When the president tell you to move, you move too. So, which are the experience you look at? When the president tell you, say, go to China, you go to China. If the president say, go Lofa County and go George Sunken and case, you go. So, where is the experience? Okay, let's put that aside. This president, this vice president had oversight responsibility. He was responsible for Group of 77. He was responsible for the lottery. Can this vice president tell us? Ellen Johnson squandered a lot of nonsense. She did some good things. The government did some good things. But tell us what was the good that it did and what is the bad that Ellen did that he, Bwaka, can fix. You understand? But we're not hearing it. All we know, Mr. Bwaka was there for 25 years. All Mr. Bwaka position was appointed position. It was not a position he applied for. It's like you going to a public school and the next man going to a private school. In a private school, they tell you when you make 70, you fail. In a public school, when you make 70, you pass. Then you want to compare the two together. Mr. Cummings have a different ideas how things move from one place to another place. He gave us a blueprint. He said this is how we will pay for it. We will cut the legislators' money. We're not giving them no 30,000. We're not giving no president 1.5 for project. We're not giving no first lady money. We will take this money and give it to our Liberian people. That's his right. That's his right. But if we see the same old politicians, we say UP damaged Liberia before George Weah took it. Why we should bring UP back? And when we look at our own history now, let's go back. No party was defeated in Liberia ever came back to power. The party that defeated before Tui party never came back. When Doe came to power, Tui party never came back to power again. NDPL never rise up again. NPP will never come again. UP, they never left no good record. We can't be looking at Une Bwaka. We can't look at Bwaka alone and say UP must go. No. Heron told us that Mr. Bwaka was corrupt. He said it in a video. So, but that's not the point. That Mr. Barker still has the right to run. All of them has the right to run. But if we want to defeat Mr. Weir, we must defeat Mr. Weir with a change. Now with Ure coming back, now with Yombly or coming to take the same stage, then what's the difference? What is the difference? We want a change. We don't just looking for a replacement. So my thing, I tell you, even if you take Mr. Cummins and you put him to Bwaka, and when they go against George Weah, let me explain to you now what's going to happen. You got a political party they call Liberation Party, owned by the standard bearer is what? Dana Cassell. Dana Cassell is prepared to spend $10 million. He didn't give a damn to be president. You got Wilmot Pay. Wilmot Pay was the former chairman of UPP. He knows the in and out of Mr. Bwaka. He was the one who suspended, who removed Ellen Johnson. And when Ellen Johnson came back, they kicked him out. He knows all the secret of him. Now, if you carry Bwaka and you carry George Weah together, Mr. Dana Cassell will be the change, will be the new guy, and tell all the Liberian people and tell us that, and you say you never wanted Mr. Cummins, now you get Mr. Bwaka, you get George Weah, all of them, the same old people. Guess what's going to happen? Liberation Party are going to be taking vote from CPP.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Hello.
Yeah.
You make a lot of very good point, and that's why I kept listening very quietly.
That's why we are afraid.
Yeah, it is true about the Unity Party coming back. Myself, I was not really looking at it like that. But one of my consideration is that we cook the food here before they getting ready to share. Why I mean, we the Liberian people. In early stage of this Weir administration, because of the way he was carrying the country and some of the so many dissatisfaction, we all from different political constituents who couldn't take it. So we decided to form ourselves into one group so that at least we could be louder. That's how the CPP came about. And when the CPP came about, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mr. Euro was the first and the second chairman was Mr. Cummins. And then later on, the conversations started coming around. Hey, it would be better, Mr. Cummins be the second person and XYZ and XYZ. So literally, we the Liberian people suggested that. We are the one that requesting the two people to go together as a team. And even though we are still advocating for Mr. Bwaka to be the head of the team, but if for any reason the CPP was to establish the standard bearer and the vice standard bearer, they will in some way have attention from the people. Because this time it's not where the standard bearer is handpicking you, it's the people that are requesting that. So it will give Mr. Cummins some sort of leverage to function in his full capacity, and not like maybe a little bit different from the other previous vice presidents that have been selected or picking by the handpicked by the standard bearer. So that was my own take right there. So my thing is, as it is right now, because when we're looking at the basis of the voter, like we're looking at the voter in general, and we're looking at the constituents, if we look at the constituent demarcations, look at Lofa, look at the popularity of Lofa, and look how solid they are with with the Unity Party, and then look at the Maryland or the southeastern region where Mr. Cummins is hailed from, and look at how much vote going to be divided, because the vote coming from out of the southeast, believe it or not, Joe could be the last wicked president walking around. He would still get some vote from the southeast. That he would have to split with Mr. Cummins. But if we want to really, this coming election, our intention is to make Ambassador Weah one-time president, and we all do have a reason that he should be one-time president.
Okay, let me hold you there. You see, the mistake we always have here about the counties. 2017, Mr. Bwaka won Lofa County with 90%. You know that, eh? 91.
Right.
Did he won election? He won election? No.
They won the runoff. They won the runoff.
In the same runoff, he won only one county in the same runoff. Only Lofa. No. Listen. He won one county in 15 counties. Won in the same runoff. Won. We all supported Bwaka. So you see, counties don't make you president. It's your base. Some people say, when people tell you say my base are the young people, are the working people, because every county got young people. Mr. Cummings, Maryland can vote for Mr. Cummings 30 times. He can win presidency. Because you can put Maryland, River G, Grand G there, Sano, Grand Cru, River Says. There's 6 counties. You can put every one of them together. Lofa County got more people than them. You know what I'm saying? But not because you were born in a big county make you think that you got an edge over the man from small county. You see the great country we live in today, the president coming from Delaware. Delaware got 3 electoral colleges. 3. Philadelphia got 27. Florida got 29. California got 50. This woman, the vice president coming from California, she couldn't even beat Joe Biden in the primary in California. You see that? So let us leave the counties. It don't play well. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, I bet you Joe Bwaka cannot get 91% again anymore in Lofa County. For the situation I go in Lofa County, the time the other party like CDC and Dr. Kiase, the time he's spending in Lofa County, Bwaka cannot get the same amount again. It's not about counting your constituency, your base. A base, you say, oh, I deal with young people, the educated young people, the people who want to go to school, the workers, the health workers. They are in all the counties. They are. Mr. Cummings is not going to be president for Maryland County. Mr. Cummings, there is no way he can go to Maryland and just walk there and just win because he was born there. No, they had other people there, like this, that the guy who won the senatorial position. That guy lived in Maryland. He born in Maryland. Everybody know him. He's the chairman of NPP. Not because you come from Jerusalem, you get $10,000. You get $10,000 in your hand, you will win Maryland. No, that's not how it works. Now, if Mr. Cummings was running for senator in Maryland County, all Mr. Cummings was going to do was to live in Maryland for 6 months or live in Maryland for 1 year. Everybody would know that I got money. But that's not what he there for. So, making a case of not winning Maryland and Mr. Bwaka, because if we go by the 2017, that means we're trying to tell ourselves that John, we will win again. But that's not what we're going by. So, Mr. Bwaka can't get that 1% again from Lofa County. Mr. Bwaka need more Sorado County. He need Nima County. He need Bon County. Plus Lofa County. That is what. And listen, CPP got 51% of the vote. CPP is the way forward. Don't get me wrong. But Mr. Weir only option to win is to cheat. I will tell you the real truth. They run the government. And we say Ellie did this, Ellie that. George Weir run the government. Now, if George Weir didn't cheat, look, their boss, people don't understand. Their plans are all corrupt plans. They will cheat us in a way that even if you go to court, you can't win the case. Because that's what's going to happen. Bwaka will be on the ticket. Even you can put Mr. Cummings second. Nobody vote for vice president. The first thing will say, but Mr. Cummings is a corrupt man because Mr. Cummings going as deputy and vice president. So, but Mr. Bwaka, George Weir will cheat to win that election with 50.5, 50.6. That will make the election very close. Then they will say, but Liberation Party took some of your members. Because Liberation Party are praying to God, and Women Pay is praying to God for Joseph Bwaka to go so he can expose Joseph Bwaka. Now, all the others, disenchanted seditions, the independent, those that sit on the fence will say, but listen now, I think I'm going to try Kiase because Kiase is the most honest guy in the whole thing here. He's not going to win. But what he's going to do, he's going to cut the vote down. And this coming election, we're not going to get no 22 candidate. Don't let nobody fool you. The way things going now, you think with the paper, male Jews going to run? No. We might get maybe 5 or 6 candidates this time around. Because CPP and CDC, they will be, we're not going to get plenty. So nobody should fool themselves. Even the new parties, don't be surprised they might end up merging with other parties. So we're not going to get 22. That is what, George, we are praying for. Now we'll go to Supreme Court. We'll go to ECOWAS. You know what they're going to tell us? 6 years ago, George Weah won the election with 62%. This year, George Weah won the election with 50.4%. So the election is tough. It's tight. And other people got vote too. Right there. But even the international community will not pay attention to us because they say Liberian people brought the same people. When you look behind Mr. Bwaka is a patriot. He's a decent man. But let me tell you today, there are other people who trying to take advantage of Mr. Bwaka's health. If Mr. Cummings was a greedy guy and want to be president, he say, you know what? I think I go with Mr. Bwaka because I won't be president. So if Mr. Bwaka, anything happen tomorrow, I will be the president. But that's not what Mr. Cummings is looking at. Mr. Cummings does not want to be president based on somebody getting hurt or somebody passing or some, because it could be Mr. Cummings dying before Mr. Bwaka. But other people looking at that one. You see? So pushing Mr. Bwaka, we're not putting our best team together. I can tell anybody. You can put Cummings, you can put the Joe Bwaka. Mr. Daniel Kasser, Dr. Kasser will be the agent of change. Then he will put it in our face and say, well, Mr. Cummings came the other day, he was running. You say he just coming. And you sat down there and you turn the control to the bad people. He will not win. But he will cut into votes that will bring a serious problem to us. I'm telling you, my brother. So when we're saying these things, you put your best team together.
So, Mr. Money, let me ask you something, right? So, let's say now that let's say we're taking your scenario into consideration. Where will we put Mr. Bwaka there?
Look, Mr. Bwaka, and let me tell you, I'll be honest with you, we still got more time. And still, for some reason, I believe that Mr. Bwaka might not even run. For some reason. I'm telling you, look at the people who live in Mr. Bwaka. One of Mr. Bwaka close guy from Lofa County, one of his close associates just left and gone to CDC. Somebody who he's very close to. Mr. Bwaka will get a lot of respect. Who would not want to take advice from me? Look, you see, age is not the problem. They got some people who 80 years old and they stay strong. My brother, you and myself know. The guys going to say the mind is waiting, but the body is weak. When the body is weak, you can't force it. The thing we call pacemaker is just the second thing that keeping you alive. Stress can kick you out. Any kind of stress whatsoever. Running election in Liberia, Mr. Bwaka told us that because of the last election, all the little campaign, he started feeling that heavy stress. He decided to go to the hospital. Nobody knew what he did there, but finally he admitted that he got a pacemaker. Pacemaker is not nothing like you holding something in your hand. It's in you. If there's a stress, bam, that's it. Other people like Yombly, that's what Yombly looking at. She want to be vice president too. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Cummings is not going to leave the CPP. Let me tell you, my brother. But Mr. Cummings will not force people, even in the UP party. The UP is split. Liberty Party is split. There are people in UP who believe that Mr. Bwaka should give way for UP to bring another political leader. And it's not working. UP should come up with a new political leader. But there are people who think that when Mr. Bwaka is the president, their way, because they got a direct connection with Mr. Bwaka, is easy. My only problem I tell you today, I'm not mad because Henry Costa talked the way he spoke today with Mr. Cummings, but I like it. The fact is that he never told us that Mr. Cummings was corrupt. He said Mr. Cummings a stranger. And I listened to him. It's the same playbook from Mr. Bwaka and the playbook from Bernard Ure. He never said Mr. Cummings a bad man. He said Mr. Cummings a stranger. So we can't give the country to Mr. Cummings because he's a stranger. But he was the same one that people call foreigner too. He said Mr. Cummings a foreigner. I'm an American citizen, Liberian American, and naturalized. But Liberia is my country. Mr. Cummings was naturalized before. Now he's not an American citizen anymore. Joshua was naturalized before. He's not an American citizen anymore. Other than give their citizenship out. You know what I'm saying? So we must be very careful not to be so dirty. But we're not going to force nobody. When you go to Liberia, if you are to go to Liberia today and listen to the common Liberian, they will tell you, say, listen, man, we tired with the Unity Party. Unity Party messed us up. They did this, they did that. It's the name Unity Party is the problem. It's not a Bwaka name. There are people who depend, who believe in Bwaka. That maybe Bwaka might change it. But what Unity Party did in Liberia and Joshua make Liberian people to understand that Unity Party was messed up. And Unity Party, Eddie Johnson can tell us anything. It will be very hard, my brother. We're going to give it up.
I got one more thing to ask you, right? Between Ambassador Bwaka and Mr. Cummings, who do you think is working diligently hard to win this CPP nomination?
Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings have been trapped. Listen, Mr. Cummings. Mr. Bwaka, right in the same Morovia right there. In fact, Mr. Bwaka was silent for 3 years when Joshua took over. 3 years. Mr. Cummings took 3 months vacation after the election and visited all the counties. He went to Maryland. He told everybody thank you. He went to every county. He visited all. The only place that Mr. Bwaka and Mr. Cummings never stopped was Riverside. He went through Riverside, but there was no program playing in Riverside. But every day Mr. Cummings is on his feet, going to this place, to that place, still talking to people. Because yes, in politics, it's not about sitting down. No, if you sit down, you can't win. It's not about showing the people your resume. It's practical. It's not theory. So Mr. Cummings continued to go places over and over. What the people want, they only want Mr. Cummings finance in our CPP. It's wrong. And let me tell you one of the biggest mistakes they made. When you collaborating with somebody and we already plan how to select our leaders, when you, the other 2 leaders coming out and say, my man, I can support you. Why you can't wait for the time? Why you couldn't wait for the time to come up and say, well, I'm going to support Bwaka? Because that is right. But when as a leader, when you say it now, you just undermine the other people. The only thing that made Yombly can say it because the chairman refused to do it. The chairman said, well, I'm not going to the convention yet. I'm not going to do anything. That's why you see they went to court, they went to NEC, and NEC pushed them back. That's all. Because Yombly, they have promised her already to be the VP, because Mr. Cummings will not go as a VP. But Mr. Cummings will not leave the CPP. He will not leave it, but it will still not help us. It will not help us. You listen to people saying, why Mr. Cummings had to join the coalition? Anybody you talk to in Liberia, why Mr. Cummings have to join? Even the seditious who are disenchanted, who piss off with George Weah.
Let me make a correction, though. Let me make a correction. Please, I want to interject. Those people that say it was a wrong decision for Mr. Cummings to join the CPP, I totally disagree with them. Because over the few months or year they have, the CPP, the togetherness or the coming together of the CPP have really put out the opposition community to the Liberian people. Make us well known to the Liberian people and what we stand for. So if Mr. Cummings, I want to believe he was not part of the CPP collaboration, he may not have this momentum that he has right now.
Well, you can't. No, listen. You know, I'm not saying that he's wrong for joining the CPP. But let me ask you one question. Do you think that any party within the CPP has the number to win George Weah by themselves?
Honestly, I don't believe that. But
CPP,
they have.
No, CPP.
Individual could make a difference.
No. The 3 parties, if they go on their own, do you think they can defeat George Weah?
But George Weah didn't win on his own either.
Wait. We already know them by themselves already. They already on their own. They want to say on their own. You got NPP, you got LPDP, and then you get what the Prince Johnson party right now. Whether we like it, we like it, they're already together. They're not moving. They're not fighting. Yes, they got an internal fighting, but they're not like us. What I'm trying to tell you, collectively, the CPP, when you put them together, they got 51% already. By themselves, they can beat the first round clean. But what we're not taking into consideration depends on who is the captain of the team. You see, football, let me just bring it to football. When you myself play before and I whip you, I believe that I can whip you again. Just imagine when they draw the fixture for Cup of Nations and we see Sierra Leone in our group. Then we go low, we see Gambia. We say, I mean, we can beat them, people will beat them before, man, until they can beat us. But we always believe that we can beat Sierra Leone, we can beat Guinea. You understand? But until they can beat us. So I'm telling you, President Weah, and the dirty part of it, my brother, you are now the dirty part of this thing here. There are people in the CPP who playing double games. They play double games. They get it. They ask.
That's my fear with the ANC. That's my fear with the
No,
ANC.
it's not. Listen to me. No. You see, no. You think the ANC going to leave? Are you thinking that the ANC will leave?
No, I am thinking that a lot of the people that are supporting the ANC are those people that they make it on the CDC team. No. You see, let me tell you today. When people say CDC, that the people who left CDC. No, I never support. No. Let me straighten the record. I never supported CDC. I supported George Weah. I was never. No. Give me a chance. I was never a member of CDC. Even I'm not a member of ANC. Right now, I'm still not a member of ANC. But you were hanging with George Weah.
No.
You were hanging with President Weah.
I knew President Weah before CDC came in. I believe. Let me tell you something. And I still owe no one apology. I believe for the way George Weah was acting, that he was going to understand the common man problem if you are going to win. But I realized that when he became senator, his attitude were different. What he was supposed to do as a senator, he started to look for his own money. But a lot of people see it that way. That's when I back off. And George Weah called me back when the election was coming up. I told him, no, I'm disappointed in you and I got nothing to do with it again. And I decided I chose my own candidate. I know Mr. Cummings from nowhere. I just started looking at all the candidates' record. I started looking at the platform and I saw this guy. I said, this guy could be a good president, but like Brempo will not take him because nobody know him. So you see, supporting a candidate, it means I'm supporting the party. They got people who register with party. It's not easy to leave the party. Even the sedition who left CDC, they were supporting CDC, but they were not members. When you register, my brother, I tell you, it makes difference. So, a guru who was once CDC, they left because they felt that the CDC party was changing their direction. So they left and went and formed the Alternative National Congress. But when even Henry Costa were part of it, Henry Costa were part of that group that funded that party. But when they funded the party, they had different ideas until Mr. Cummings came in. Some people got vexed, they left and went back to them. So the seditions they're talking about, they're not there anymore. We can see them there to say, oh, they say, oh, the jealous sedition or the jealous sedition. No, they were not people who CDC pushed out. They never pushed them out. They were never pushed out. They left and decided to form another alternative to CDC. Say, well, since you don't want us here, you're changing. That's not what's the plan. Although when they went to see ANC2, it was not the plan. Politics has never been the plan. You might have a good plan. When I come back there again, you might not like it. You will get vexed and leave. But Mr. Cummings, who is there, he listens to people. Whether he can, you see, it's not that a must he win, my brother. Mr. Cummings will not leave the CPP. There are people who doing it, think that Mr. Cummings will leave and say, oh, I will tell you. No. If Mr. Cummings was greedy, he was not going to join the CPP. He believed in like brand people. If he was greedy, he would say, you know what, let me just go with Mr. Boaka so I can be president too. It's not about being president. It's about delivering. If you got an agenda, you have your blueprint written down. And I myself, I got blueprint. That's why I can't join me. You you're going to just stay back because vice president don't have no agenda. You got to go through the process. Look at this woman who Joe Biden carrying as his VP. Almost defeated Joe Biden. Stole Joe Biden, all kinds of things. But after the whole thing, Joe Biden reached out to her. I want to carry as VP. I want you to be my VP. She never went in a race to say, "My man, I'll be your VP if I win." There's no plan B in politics. When you lose, then if they ask you if you won it, but that's the right of Joe Biden to choose his own candidate, his VP. They're not Liberian people. That's not like, if you ask me now, if I have my own will, I would love for them to have a primary in all the counties. Let the Liberian people decide who to be. Because if the Liberian people vote for you to be the candidate, you will not leave. You will not leave. But we can't just sit and just assume that these two guys are the best. Or because we try to compensate one because he went there for 9 years. My brother, that's not how it works. Working for 9 years. So you're telling me, then why you will run for president? You will never work in the government. He was the same political appointee. And Councillor Bromsky. Yombly, where Yombly work? She was just senator. Where Henry Costa worked before he tried to run for Senate for the representative. That's not how it works. You are Liberian fresh, your age, your $25,000 property you got, you can run for president. Only the people who gave you the privilege to leave, but it's your right to contest. You know what I'm saying? So let us stop doing this thing about, oh, Mr. Bwaka, when you go to school, you got your BSc. They ever wrote on the BSc that your BSc, you must go to public service or you must go to private sector. It depends on you where you go look for a job. And when you look for a job, you get experience. And what the people look for in experience? Do you know what they look for in experience? When you come to look for a job, when I'm going through your resume, I call your other job. I'm not calling to say if you qualify. They call and say, hello, yes, okay. Do you know so person? Yes. How high is attitude? You think it was okay? All I want to find out if you're a good worker or you got good conduct. That's it. Your resume is in front of me. They tell you, say, oh, we want somebody that got a degree. Whether you can get in sociology, whether you can get in biology, we just want somebody that got a degree for this job. When you start the job, then they will know if you know the job. Nobody go to school to be president. But for you to know a leader will succeed, your past performance and behavior will determine your future to say, oh yes, this man did it good over there on that small little thing. He ran that small little organization and he changed it around. I think that man can take the next step. Or in Liberia, when you senator to make money, you president to make money, he don't need, Mr. Cummings retired. Like any other person, he retired like Joe Biden. He's not working. He got time on his side. God help him, he work. Go ahead.
So I want to ask this, then I'm gonna get other people the opportunity to come on here. Let's say you're not talking about experience. I think experience.
No. Mr. Cummings has experience. No. I'm not talking about experience. No. Mr. Cummings has experience. Mr. Cummings run things before. He got to run a government.
So now, this is my question. Do you believe the team that Mr. Cummings had, the team that he's going to work with, if he was to be fortunate enough to head the CPP standard bearership and then to accede to the presidency, do you believe Mr. Cummings have a solid team that would deliver as compared to the team Ambassador Bwaka could bring on board?
I will tell you yes, based on what I've seen. But I cannot tell you who Mr. Cummings will carry as his VP. But one thing I know, Mr. Cummings, based on his past decisions, Mr. Cummings will choose a very qualified, but I know the person will be very young. When I say very young, I mean young, but will choose a very qualified person that will represent him or that will take over in case of anything that will happen to him. That one of his things he say every day, he said, if something happens to the president, this person should be able to come in. But they will be younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't tell you who is president. The only thing the vice president will not come from ANC. The vice president must come from the 3 other political parties. That is where he will choose. But it ain't got to be the standard bearer of the other party. It don't have to be like the political leader. You can take anybody from that party. Once they are a member of that party, you can choose them. Say, I want this person to go as my VP. So you see, so the team will be there. And Mr. Cummings approving it. Mr. Cummings brought a girl in from Unity Party, they call Muriah, who were not member of ANC. But because she was qualified, Mr. Cummings brought her in as chief of staff. She just gone to school again. Mr. Cummings starts to search. He looked around, he took Alva Toba, former sedition, but he's qualified. And he told the people from ANC, he said, listen, if I'm president today, I would not see ANC, CDC, UP, ALP. I would not see none of them as a political party. I would see everybody as a Liberian. Once you qualify, if you're a sweeper, you must enjoy your sweeping money. You know, that's his belief, because he's coming from system. And what we are afraid of, and which most of our politicians are afraid of, because when Mr. Cummings insisting that my salary, I would do, and he said he wants salary, he said I would donate my salary to the Anti-Corruption Commission. That means he can stop corruption, but he can minimize corruption. And he's still saying that if I'm president, if you steal, you're not just going to resign. When you resign, we will prosecute you and will seize property from you. He's saying it. So other politicians don't want, even people, and Mr. Cummings, this statement you make, don't you think it will harm you? He said, listen, if Librampo don't want me, so be it. If Librampo don't want me because I'm speaking the truth, because when he said the thing that the people took 30,000, the legislature, when they wrote a letter, they started attacking him. He said, well, that's good they're attacking me. That means they saw something. So the honesty is what you look at. And 3 things that any leader will bring to the table. You must be honest, integrity, and empathy. Because if you're honest, you will not suppress your people. What you believe in human being. You will do everything for human being to survive. So if I tell you, my brother, I want you to take upon yourself, look at Mr. Cummings' agenda, his blueprint. He got something on the internet called the 5 whats and how. That means his first is infrastructure. Everybody talk about road. Anybody who tell you about infrastructure, it comes with job creation. Because in infrastructure, you get roads, electricity, health system, telephone, clean water is all in infrastructure. You talk about agriculture, he's not talking about for garden. He's talking about government should invest more money into agriculture. Even if it costs us to bring companies from abroad to help our people produce the food that you can eat. And he's saying in 5 years we can feed ourselves. It's just that we're not been doing it the right way. He's talking about health. He said people gotta go to a hospital. He said how in the world you would get all these things but you don't have hospital. You gotta build roads in that job you're creating. He tell you, listen, the last thing that I saw and I like, government of inclusion. Government of inclusion. Don't look at the man as a sedition. You think CDC don't have some qualified guys? CDC got a lot of qualified people. You think the people in UP are bad people? The leaders are the bad ones. So you look at all these things, but how you going to sponsor? How you going to fund it? He said, listen, the first thing will cut waste. Which of the politicians in Liberia telling us about cutting waste? He said the first thing, we know about the 30,000, they will not get it. The president will not get $1.5 million for presidential project. The first lady will not get no $1.5 million to go do a project, because the first lady is under the executive mansion. So all their money, we're not going to buy $70,000 car for anybody. Mr. Cummings said we're not going to have no inaugural ball. All this money can be used. If anybody want to have inaugural ball, you will have it on your event. But the next day we're going to work. I'm not going to travel with no private jet. I'm not going to buy no new car for the president. Even if you want to use a car, you can use his car. We're not going to buy no new things. We will manage in our budget. And it is possible that we can increase our budget. Our resources, we will get our fair share. So everything, Mr. Cummings said, I don't look at the big people. I don't look at the politician. I look at the common man. The common man who, and I will tell you that what the common man want to hear. the other guys, look at what rich people are, bro. I want you to sit down and think about all the Liberian millionaires, how they got rich. I sure you knew some of them 10 years ago. Edwin Snow is a millionaire today. He was never a millionaire before. He was a broke man like myself. Today he's a millionaire. Sir Joseph is a millionaire. Thomas Farah is a millionaire. Nathaniel Maggie a millionaire. Jefferson Koji a millionaire. Josh Weah a millionaire. Joseph Boaka a millionaire. Bernard Euro a millionaire. All our millionaires work in government. Every one of them came to government broke. So they're looking at Mr. Cummings that because he think he got money, so he will spoil our chopping and suppress us and will not get what we want again. And Henry Costa said it clean that Mr. Cummings worth, I will tell you, he worth over 100 million, and that's not my business. That his money, he worked for it. He worked like any other person. You could be successful tomorrow. Why Liberians should tell you that you are a foreigner, you stranger in your own country because you came to America, you make money. When you make money, you go home to retire. That everybody, you think I want to retire in America? When I finish, I get my small cash, I go home. I will be in Liberia receiving my social security. I want to be in America receiving social security. I won't be in Liberia because when I eat all the fresh food, I will still be healthy and I can die. That's all. So, but my thing is that I will be honest with you. It is easier for George Weah to cheat us when we carry the wrong candidate. Easy. And when we want to talk, they will bring the old record on and say, but the last time the man defeated you with 62. This time he defeated you with 50.5. What we say? Then you get Dana Cassette taking our votes too. And some point want Joseph Boaka. They point want Joseph Boaka that they want them who got Facebook like us. That wouldn't want talking about people around here. Go ask people. Everybody come on Facebook page and tell you, say, I don't understand, man. You know the party? You hear it every day. So my brother, that's the real truth. And the Liberian people don't want to hear it. So be it. We'll come back and history will repeat themselves. We're not breaking nobody up.
Thank you. We follow the process. For me, I have always requested for us to give the process the opportunity.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah.
The only thing I asked and I request from Mr. Cummings and his team is that let us do the politic plan.
Okay, hold there. Wait. What Mr. Henry what Costa did today, was that a clean politics? To call another Liberian a foreigner or another standard bearer to use all those words on him? Prophet Keys supporting Boaka and Obe talking about the men are gay, the men are this, the men are fake. They insulting him. When they come up and they say this, then when we try to compare, then they say keep it clean. We're not saying nothing bad. We all want it to be clean. We want the process to be clean. Because tomorrow we need each other. That's what they should understand. But they shouldn't insist that they're entitled to it. No, they're not entitled to it. It's not an entitlement. That's all.
Okay. It's okay, big brother. And the network a little bit bad now.
I know.
I will follow the show.
Where you calling from? Where you calling from?
I barely hear you now, Mr.
Yeah,
Mr.
where are you calling from? Where are you calling from? Where are you calling from? Where are you?
I'm calling from Georgia.
Oh, okay, but about the network bad that so.
Yeah. Let's do it later on.
Okay, take care and have a good day and drive safely.
All right. It took forever to get a nail.
So guys, you see, these are the things some people understand, because when you're talking about Mr. Cummings cannot win Maryland, why he should win the presidency? We're making it worse for ourselves. You can even win Nima County alone, you still can be president of Liberia. You need everybody to make you president of Liberia. You know what I'm saying? If you're running for senator, then we understand that you need it. But this man is not running for the Senate. And if you say the man don't have a house in Maryland, then Henry, I beg you, go and check Mr. Cummings out again. Go and check Mr. Cummings out. But I believe that you will see the light soon and understand that things will not be the way you want. you must join the better side. Join the better side. And for those of you who believe in Henry Costa, I don't have problem with that. I don't have problem with it. Seriously. Okay, okay, what happened? You decline. Maybe you got your phone wrong way. Okay, I will soon be calling it quit for the day. And I want you to please share this video and send it out there to whosoever. And for those of you who disagree with me, I hope that when the show is off, you will understand it a little better. You will understand it better after the show. Yeah, because sometimes after the show, before you get the message, and you'll understand what the person is trying to say. Ooh, my neck. Hello.
How you doing?
Everything.
Not bad. One thing I don't know.
Why you so low like that so?
Sorry, my phone. I'm a little bit disappointed in hearing Costa this morning.
Okay.
What I'm saying? You know, we all in the time here, we follow him because he was bringing the news to the Liberian people. Everybody admire his work, but now he going very below the belt. He being petty. He throwing tension on the soul and child. I was disappointed here. I won't lie to you. And for Obe Prophet King, those people, I can't say, you know, Obe got any input in anything because Obe said don't know his left and his right. So, because they costing the man care and all these things, and the man not going to be empowered to go speak with people, he want to improve people's lives. So I say like this to the Liberian people. They're the ones struggling. They're the ones struggling. If their life is better, then let them listen to these people. I got up this morning. I have a choice to know what I want to eat in my house. Eric Costa was in his car today driving, taking his son to daycare in a free country where he can work, where he can work, he chooses to or whatever. We should let them have that opportunity. Like, if they want to listen to Eric Costa, they want to listen to Obe, they want to listen on disability, permanent disability. Every morning money comes. You see what I'm saying? Me and you in this country, we get money whether we go to work or not, the system set up. So the cousin Alexander Gomez, he just posted something about a stranger, but in life sometimes a stranger can do better than your family. You know, so I'm disappointed in him. I didn't know he that petty, and for that reason, I don't know. I can't follow him no more. I'm sorry. It's not about Alexander Gomez, but it's about his pettiness. So that my input today, and what he did, he drive me a child to school. But the people back home don't see Eric Costa sitting in car. He driving his son to daycare. Okay, but they're thinking that they don't have the choice to do what he's doing. But they're still thinking he mean well for them. You understand? Maybe he thinking Alexander Gomez will pick up the phone and say, listen, I beg you, but let come to. Nobody will pay him no money. Nobody will pay him to join nothing. Eric Costa don't own like this. Hey, Alexander Gomez win fine, he win fine. But he's not going to be a vice president to work at that. I don't accept it. I'm not going to agree with him. That's my input.
Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you very much. You are 100% right. Thank you. She's 100% right, and I defend her on that, and I stand with her on that. The fact of the matter is that Henry Costa actually went below the belt, but I will tell you, I see it in a different way. That was his promotion. Mr. Cummings, he never said Mr. Cummings was corrupt, but that's a good thing. Man, Prince, come back, man. Come back, Prince. So, he said everything about Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is still the best guy. And, you know, and Henry, I know you have not lost all your people yet, but I tell you, a lot of people disappointed in you from your comments, calling Mr. Cummings a foreigner. A foreigner. Don't you know everything I do in this country, I do it as an American? Because I got an American passport, my brother. According to the Constitution, no Liberians will be denied their citizenship. And Mr. Cummings is not a citizen anymore since he decided to run. You don't know that, my brother? You calling this man a foreigner? What will you do that? What you are thinking about? People who support you, people who follow you, are discussing the face of, they can't believe it. Only the so-called Henry Costa people, they will be the only people who say, oh yes, that's good, Henry. Henry, you did good. You did good, Henry. You did good. Oh yeah, that was a very good thing you did, Mr. Costa. And I look at all the comments. I saw people there who support Henry Costa and were asking, are you serious? Is that the show you have for today? How are you, my brother? How are you, Prince?
The general, how you doing, Chief?
Man, I'm okay, man. I'm just a little fired up. What else?
Man, I was happy this morning, man, when I saw the banner behind you, and on the banner I saw 4-star.
Yes.
I was happy. I said, now the general now move from 1-star to 4-star.
Yes.
Maybe someone will get promotion, will go to 1-star general too.
Yeah, Prince. That's the truth.
I hope you think about the corner, okay?
That's the truth. You're right. You're right.
Get a corner to 1-star general. Look, hey man, I just wanted to put in this little bit of sense of humor, so also to kind of let our Liberian people know that we can still have our differences, and we can still be civil to each other and have respect for each other. To let Liberian people know that there's a thing called politics, and there is a thing called gross disrespect and insubordination. I want to bring attention to Alexander Cummings' comments and perspectives that he made while he was on this SKTV, I want to believe so. And he will ask some incredible, interesting questions that were bordering around the issues that is affecting our people today. And I really admire his response. As you know, I'm an independent as you are.
Yep.
And there's a possibility and plausibility. As soon as, election is not cheap, it's expensive.
Yep.
Even as an independent, I would need money to contest.
Yep.
So I'm putting money together and scraping here and there. If I meet that threshold of what I want to use to run my campaign, then I'll formally come out and state my position. However, as an ordinary citizen of Liberia, I still do have the right, not just only the right, but I have the responsibility under the Constitution to make sure that I support what is good for Liberia, that I encourage what is going to be beneficial for the future of that great nation that we have not chosen on our own, but rather we have been predestined by God to be its sons and daughters. So when I tell people that within the CPP, that Alexander Cummings is a better option, some people who I know who want to see things from a political perspective, they will try to diminish my voice by trying to brand me like the way people were branded during the war. This man a guild man, so we'll kill him. This man a crime man, so we'll kill him. This man a Madingo man, so we'll kill him. So they will try to brand me and say, oh, this man a ANC man. I have to say that ANC is a bad party. ANC is not a bad party. In fact, I admire ANC. They are very progressive. They are one of the parties that is evolving into an institution rather than just a party built around somebody's interest. Like the ALP that is built around Benana U.S. interest, all for him, all his, by his own property, where he can unanimously get appoint his daughter to run with no contestation, with no protestation. Get appoint his daughter to run in a district. Even so, we all overwhelmingly supported her because we felt that we had to give our young ladies a chance, the opportunity to be a part of the process. But we disregarded the fact that, Bernard Ure it was carrying on the undemocratic political establishment. We supported her overwhelmingly, and even she was at the threshold of winning, but it was her own brother Henry Costa, his remark that caused that the states in the mouth of the people within that district that they did not show up, and today consequently, Tara Ure did not win that election because of seeing Henry Costa. But my point here, I want us to focus on what Alexander Cummings is putting forward for this country, because it seems that if by the grace of God, and I'm successful and I get the money that I want, about $1.3 million, I'm almost there.
to decide to go and exercise my constitutional right to run as president of Liberia. I mean, it will be difficult for me to go against Alexander Cumming because it seems that, I mean, everything he's espousing, everything he's talking about, are the very thing, the intricate thing that Liberia needs to be able to move forward into the 21st century. That's the sort of mentality you have to take to be able to bring Liberia from what it is right now, on the brink of disasters. He talk about how you're going to grow the economy, how you're going to raise taxes on the wealthy in our country, how you're going to do it. Really, the taxes on the wealthy is the business people who are living in that country. Most of them living in that country are not even paying the fair taxes. They got huge properties, big houses. They're not even paying taxes on the houses. Here in America, I got a little small house here. My tax just went out the other day. And I felt my tax was going to go up because the road I was living at my house, that whole road was just regraded and was paved. So when that happened, I knew exactly that something was going to happen. So my taxes went off my little small property. But I seen the evidence of my property because my road was fixed. So my point I'm saying is that Cummings' idea of using the tax system to generate enough revenue to be able to facilitate the social welfare of our country is something that I'm in agreement with him. Also, his idea of making a level playing field for our business, our young business people who are driving, by making at the port of Monrovia a flat tax. Whereas you take your container there, it will be a flat tax. It can be Lebanese man, it can be Indian man, or Liberian person. It will be flat tax. So it will create a level playing field. It will all goes well for small businesses, the mom and pop shops, those sisters and brothers that are shipping container. They will not be overwhelmed by the bureaucracy and the taxation, the overwhelming taxation at the port that eats away from their profits and diminish their ability to be able to advance and improve their businesses. I highly agree with that. And the wastefulness in government. Alexander Cummings talk about how he's going to raise the revenue by getting rid of unnecessary waste. I mean, you pay ministers lucrative and lavish salaries when people who are doing the hard work, the bare bone and knockout, the people who are doing the work, police officers, teachers, are basically being paid nothing. And he said you're going to cut down, you're going to make sure you bring the budget down to reality. And that's the kind of leader we want. I can say that I will have the audacity to do that because I lived with my grandmother as a child, and my grandmother, a global crew woman, when she used to say during the dry season, that when we eat the best food in our house, we'll eat all the best food, we'll eat okra, we'll eat cassava, we'll eat any soup. But during the rainy season, we'll eat palm butter until the rainy season over.
Yep.
The reason we eat palm butter because my grandmother will adjust our budget to the income because at rainy season, you don't sell much cookies. In fact, in Dorostan, Kelabuta, in rainy, you can't sell much cookie. So my grandmother, as uneducated as she was, I mean, in terms of the Western education, but my grandmother was highly educated traditionally. She speaks 11 different dialects in our country. So my grandmother would trim her budget down to reality. We'll eat palm butter and pumpkin for the whole rainy season. So my point I'm saying, Alexander Cummings is right. If you want to raise the budget of Liberia so it can be directed to the public welfare of the people, you need to trim down wasteful spending in government. There's no reason why people are making more than $5,000 in our country. I mean, it's just obscene. And as for the legislatures, the budget is cut by the executives. The executive make the budget and say, look, this is what we know projected revenue you're going to raise. So you people have to come to reality with the budget and adjust your salary. If you can't adjust your salary, I will go back to your people and you'll use the bullet pulpit of the presidency to talk to the people, to talk to the legislatures, so they can come to reality and adjust the salary. Instead of putting folk and barrier in there for their own self-accreditation. So I really admire what Alexander Cummings, and you talk about the issue of how they address the security in the country. That security is based on cost of living. People getting paid on time. People getting the people that meet enemies to take care of their family. That's what that security, what security is. There's this thing called national security that is tied to financial security.
Yep.
He said, once the people are getting paid, people got work to do. You will not see boss on the street trying to jack people people's phone or jack people's purse because they will have someone at least to go to and get little things. So I agree with Alexander Cummings on that. And I think he's going to make me a difficult candidate for me to run against. Oh, I would love to run against Joseph M. Barker. Oh, my God. Give me Joseph M. Barker anytime. I would love to run against Joseph M. Barker because the first place I would start from, if Joseph M. Barker goes into a debate with me, I would want him to tell me first. Oh, not me, but tell the Liberian people. The opportunity that's squandered for 12 years. I want to know the opportunity that's squandered for 12 years. Because in the 12 years, thousands of people died from Ebola. Thousands of people are going into abject poverty. Thousands of people got rich, and thousands of people living lavish around the country on the back of the poor people. I will let Joseph Barker to tell me. In fact, I will let Joseph Barker to come in and have a debate with me or make a case for the Liberian people. How are you going to be able to raise, do anything different from what they did 12 years? Because I don't see Joseph Barker as an individual. I have no disrespect. I respect the old man. He did his service to his country. And by the way, just for the record, Joseph M. Barker has never held elected office in Liberia on his own merit.
Yep.
Never. I dare Henry Costa to come and prove me wrong. Joseph M. Barker, he been in Liberian politics for 40-something years. He has never held an elected office. The first time he attempted, he was defeated by George Weah. And the reason they defeated him was not because of him, Joseph M. Barker, as an individual. They defeated him because of the institution called Unity Party. And it is the same institution that Joseph M. Barker is coming under the banner of that same institution. So if people will not accept that institution or reject that institution, we got a case to make to the people that they will be able to reject the institution called Unity Party. So, I would like for Bernard Ewing to run against me. Because prior to serving in Maritime, Bernard Ewing, I used to carry gasoline and beg around for gasoline to drive around. Prior to serving of Maritime, but when he had that position at Maritime, where they, we don't want to go there because it was a complete international criminality that took place at Maritime. But from Bernard Ewing Maritime days, today he become so-called millionaire. Yeah. Who else again want to talk about Yombi Kanga? That Yombi Kanga tell us a little bit about what she did with the almost $3 million she has gotten from the Liberian people as a senator. What has she done to be able to improve and get the people in her community hope? Those are the arguments we'll be making. But the thing here is that the Liberian people deserve better. And when we talk about better, we don't mean the same thing. We mean something different.
Yep.
And if we are making the case to Liberian people for change in Liberia, we want to focus on the issue. So I want to commend Alexander Cummings for keeping his hands up and focusing on the issue. That's a debate I want to have with Alexander Cummings. On the issue, on the substance. Yeah, your Henry Costa thing. Y'all forget about that thing. Henry Costa is who Henry Costa is. He's a hired gun. He's a man who you think he can use the bullet puppet of information dissemination to intimidate people. And that only works on few people. I hope Alexander Cummings don't buy into that. I hope Alexander Cummings stand up against that. Because one thing Prophet Key told me one time on his show, he said, not because you sit down, people feed you information, they give you information and you regret you read that information, or you put that information out there, make you think, makes you smart. And I can see the evidence of it. I'm surprised that Henry Costa was sit today and talk to another political leader in that sort of derogatory way. But again, it's not a surprise anyway, because we all have sat here and see Henry Costa talk to Joe Weah in a derogatory way, insult Joe Weah, up to cussing Joe Weah in the underpants, and we all cheer him up. So why we are so edgy now when he cussing another honorable, respectful man? It is consistent with Henry Costa. That's the Henry Costa that you see for you. And the only thing he's doing, he's destroying your political career. Because at the end of the day, you cannot be trusted. Because anybody who is inconsistent, the Bible says a devil-minded man is a man is unstable in his ways. And we're seeing how unstable he is. This is the man that caused the Liberian people, told the Liberian people that Joseph M. Barker was a walking dead. And the Liberian people elect Joseph M. Barker, they'll be putting Liberia into a zombie state. That Joseph M. Barker was a sleeping person. Now he's celebrating Joseph M. Barker. It's not because of Joseph M. Barker, no. It's because when Henry Costa, what he's getting for himself. And that's being selfish. That's being selfish. Costa, my little brother, or my little son, because I can born you. You're a little kid. Let me honestly tell you. Look, the Liberian people love you. Because we the Liberian people, we are obsessed with heroes. We don't want to do our own heavy lifting. We want somebody heavy lifting for us. So we are obsessed with hero. The Liberian people love you. The Liberian people, they appreciate you trying to pretend that you're champion in their cause. Or I mean honestly pretend. Because if you seriously seeking the interest of Liberia, you will not look at a man Alexander Cummings who is clean hand, who brought a lot to the table, who are giving lot to Liberia than any other political leader in the history of Liberia, and try to insult him as such. No, you will not do it. You respect him. I will go against Alexander Cummings 2023 as an independent candidate. I will go against him because I respect him. I put myself in his shoe. Hard working person. A man who came from nowhere. Whose mother used to deliver babies before they even get tuition. Whose father was a priest. I'm a priest made in Liberia.
Nothing.
But and the man was brought, he came to America. He don't got fun. There's no Cummings real estate in America yet. And he makes something of himself. Just like myself. Who were born in from nowhere, Kalabuta, Dolostan. Do that in America yet, making sort of myself. And you insult men like that? If you insult men like that, you're insulting me.
Yep.
You're insulting the men like Liberia who are successful, who are trying their best, who are not leeches on government, who are not dependent on government to be successful. Name me any political leader in Liberia that other than Alexander Cummings who have become successful apart from Cassette, who have just come. And if you are talking to Cassette like that, I will be saying the same thing I'm saying to you. Because those are good people. And there are a lot of good people out there who want to come. But it's because of you, little kid, Aaron Costa, you are the people that are driving good people away. Because if you can talk to a decent man like that, what respect do you have for integrity? Okay? What respect do you have for integrity? Look, there is politics and there is just gross insubordination. And that what you did today was not politics, it's gross insubordination. And I mean, I don't care. And from this day forward, I withdraw my membership from COP. You got my name on the COP membership, remove my name. I'm no more member of the COP. You know why I'm not member of the COP? It was not because you insulted Alexander Cummings. It's because you insulted the good, hard-working people, honest living people in the United States. People like myself. And because you have politicized the COP. The COP was a pressure group that was supposed to be non-political pressure group that you said that it was not going to be policy related. But now you serving as a chairman now, you are politicized the COP. So either the COP asks for your resignation or we will protest for you to resign. We will protest, we will come to Delaware there and protest at your door for you to resign from the COP. If you don't resign from the COP, we'll remove our membership from COP. Because we didn't intend COP to be a political organization. It was to be a grassroots pressure group that will pressure any government. So thank you very much, Monique Kishen.
Thank you.
For coming on and defending we who are the good people.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And for the interest of Liberia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And let me say this. This shouldn't stop here. You're all rebuking Henry Costa now because he insulting George Alexander Cummings. Don't rebuke Henry Costa too when he insult George Weah. I mean, there's politics and there's disrespect.
Yeah.
This is their respect. Yeah, you can talk about how George Weah is rogue and criminal, and the evidence there, George Weah government, what you doing? Okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, brother.
We look forward to having this discussion in the near future.
Okay, have a good day and drive safely. He said it all and he deliberated on it perfectly and with passion. And I see Conor Remy on this thing here. Let me bring him in. And after Conor Remy, I will be closing up. And I gotta use the damn restroom. I gotta use the restroom. What's up, Conor?
Hey, Chairman, man, I see you dozing off, man. What happened last night, man?
You know, I went to exercise this morning, then I was on it, and then I saw the Costa show. I said, I got to do it before I do it. I'm up today. But you know, when the conversation go too long, then the little breeze hit you. You see, my man, you can see too much, man. Why you the only thing you don't look at, I try to bend my head down to do something.
I see my man Pierre in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, my man, but you know, sometimes, you know, you allow the people to, you hold the show like late at night. That is okay. You know,
Yeah, it's
the
true.
big boys always stay up late. You know that's what I do. So, but some of I'm still in my office. There are times close up.
Yeah.
But I see Costa probably may have had another show, and but I tell you, Costa is not the only one feeling the heat right now. How when you overlook someone and then that person picking up, there's no Cummings is picking up. Cummings is a Coca-Cola salesman, and you, Costa, you pride yourself as a propagandist, like a salesperson. But if you look at Costa's own effort in favor of himself as a salesperson, he feels dismally. Coca-Cola is a $298 billion company. When Cummins came in, it was just around the sharply over 100. And when he left it at a good $270 billion company. Okay, he can claim some of that success as part of his effort because he showcased the brand globally, in different countries. So you you run your own campaign, you lost dismally. You ran U.S. campaign, U.S. lost. U.S. launched its campaign like you said, even in my home in my home place, my birth town,
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg,
He
we
ain't win
lost.
nothing.
Yeah. So you know, to make politics about petite, I think Henry Costa claimed one time that he has worked on his emotional intelligence. I don't think he has. I think Costa is still suffers from emotional intelligence, and that what makes men someone to choke. When you have emotional intelligence, a lot of things will not shake you or move you easily. Costa still wobbles over little things. You're talking about going as low as talking about the man living in an apartment. That man lives in a penthouse. On top of that, Twin Towers, there's a penthouse. If you go there, a penthouse is where affluent people live. But in spite of that, we're not going to make this about what Cummins has or what he doesn't have, because it will be too petite. It's not what he has, but what he wants Liberians, ordinary people, to have. And go see Cummins' dream home he has built in Marshall. Go see it.
They don't even
You
know.
understand, my brother? Almost some of his prime properties. Cummins not showing up because of the order of the day. When George Weah and others know exactly what Cummins has. You know what I mean? We're in a country where people will come after you and come after you big, especially when they know that you are contenders. So Costa doesn't know, zilch about Cummins's effort in life. I can only say Cummins is a Coca-Cola man. Okay, is a Coca-Cola man who understands retail politics. That's why he was always sent to big markets, South Africa, Nigeria. You understand? You
Yeah.
just name them, because he understands his game. And I always tell people, don't sleep on Cummins. That guy is one of the guys who has more mystique in terms of his work ethics. Matter of fact, if that kind of man become president, he will be going to work like George Weah, 12 o'clock, and leave 1 hour later and go to Jamaica Resort. People who will work with Cummins, they'll catch hell, because Cummins is a guy who wakes up 5 in the morning, probably does his PT like a soldier, and by 7 o'clock, he'll be behind his desk. You talk about Joe barely stands up. I'm not going to talk about himself, but between now, 2 years from now, the Joe Buckeye that he's talking about will not be the same Joe Buckeye. Of course, Cummins will not be the same Cummins, but he's younger. You understand? He's younger, and you talk talking about you're talking about or people coming after people. This guy went after Emmanuel Sally. Nothing has Sally done to him. Nothing. Went and called the man's mother all kind of names, including calling the woman a swine. Who does that? I think mentally Costa is not okay. Between me and myself, I don't know. Sometimes I tend to give him because he says something sensible sometimes, but it's the only small thing that don't seem to add up. Sincerely, it doesn't seem to add up. When you look at what moves him, it just don't add up. Now tell me, if Costa was not feeling the things that Cummings is making headway, he won't talk. You think Costa will pick up Dominic Campbell? You think he's gonna go pick up others who are running? But I think Mr. Cummings is making a statement, and boy, he's making it big. And I think both Yopley, even Darius Dillon, all of these guys are feeling the thing. Some of them are so scared they even come up and say stuff because people are watching them. But quietly they know definitely that Mr. Cummings is a qualitative person, is a better person in his ways. Is somebody that is, who refer to as straight hands. All the folks, you just look. Who has Daniel Costa supported before that went and won election? It was Joe Bucker's side. Maybe I heard he took $50,000 from Joe. That's how it's supposed to go against yeah. Then he came with that Jolombo nonsense. You know, Jolombo and some other stuff like guilt. You understand? So all of this kind of analogy, and you have people who don't have exposure much. That was always important. Like you said, it's one set of colors that always fall. And you dare speak against him, he's going to. When it doesn't have that balance like you, somebody who come and express themselves, you have that fortitude to sit there and watch that individual express themselves well to the end and say, well, my man, that's your opinion. And then you never cut somebody else. Costa does not have that mind. That tells you about emotional intelligence. And, sometimes when Cummings will just look at it and just say, if I were looking up to Costa for support, I wouldn't be quiet this big. You understand? But I think the man is making headway now, which is what should be our focus. Because at least maybe just maybe in our lifetime we see like Liberia becoming a Rwanda. I don't see that Liberia becoming a Rwanda under Joe Bucker. I don't.
Nope.
Sincerely, I don't see it becoming a Rwanda under Georgia. I don't, because those people don't even have the skill set. They don't have the skill set. Go to Joe Bucker house now, it looks like a shop. You got old cars parked everywhere. I mean, the house is barely pictured. The same as that we are looking for becoming president. You understand? So we know definitely that first they don't even have the resources to even run their own campaign. You understand? If you don't have the resources to run your own campaign, would you have the resources to help Liberia move forward? Liberia is on a campaign right now to look like Rwanda. And the man who are building himself to be the flag bearer that will take Liberia to the next level cannot even help himself. I mean, he had to go to the president for handouts, to go to the hospital. Can you imagine? That we can go low if we want to go low. But this is not about the individual himself. This is about the nation that we're calling Liberia and the way it looks. If people feel that people who can barely wake up in the morning, imagine. You think Joe Bucker is going to go, somebody's going pictures everywhere. You think people want to see pictures? I can guarantee you that coming to all 50 counties, that guy told Chris, he will visit all 50 counties and shake hands and talk to people. You talk about the other man picture there. You see that picture? And who's saying that? Somebody who barely himself can make any good analogy. You know, the Mike Jabate guy. Well, Mike Jabate, what is he saying? Sometimes these guys have to respect my ears because some of you are more academic in terms of it. But what is he saying? Oh, the man picture is everywhere. You talk about a man who physically shake hands. That man went as far as Joe Buckeye's home county and built a mosque. Went and dedicated that mosque. And people today have a house to pray in. You talking about someone picture? That's how you're gonna run the country. Send someone photo everywhere. No Buckeye. They don't know you. Who determines that? And I like the idea that you don't have to win your county. Look at the electoral map, the runoff.
Yeah.
Everywhere is blue for George Pitt. But that small green, 10% for Joe Buckeye. You can win your county. Then continue to win locally. That will not make give the vote to win Liberia because you know what? You have to give voters that are coming up the enthusiasm to come to the polls. If they don't have that excitement to vote, just that the same people, the men who suffered for 12 years and just because your way came just 6 years now you won't take it back. We're going back to the same old thing. People will make that analogy. The common man does not see nothing has excited the common man. Between myself and my brother, for the last 18 years, the common man has just been there. Whether it was Joe Buckeye 12 years, whether it's George Weir, 4 years, going on probably 6. No excitement for the common man. And he's bringing the same old face. Sometimes I know we don't like our country, we like ourselves. But sometimes show class.
Yep.
Show class. Even if you come in, we know definitely people will come there to self-degree. When you see US somewhere, it's not there because he lost the country. US down. His pocket is slimming down. So he needs to replenish. It's like somebody who's thirsty, they need to pause and drink water. US needs water now. So we're not going to go support Alexander. He has that personal knowledge to Alexander because he was bragging to be, one of the richest people in Liberia. He can never say that. He doesn't have anything. The workers, poor people who work in companies are complaining that they are not getting paid for months. Yes, and so, money, this fight that people are looking at as some people have the royal, right just to give the presidency and they can determine who cars they're running. They're joking. That Liberia they used to know to be that way is no longer that Liberia. Every ounce of flesh will be left on the table, but they will have to fight. Even their kids will take it over in the CPD. If Buckeye thinks that he has wherewithal, he can take this game. And I can tell you, my brother, the more people see Alex, the more they see Joe Buckeye, it's like night and day. People will settle. And they used to say, oh, he doesn't have the number. When he goes on this live talk show, only 5 people watching him. I don't hear that argument anymore. I don't. And people are counting numbers. Many ways people can beef up their numbers on social media. You just need to find a way to beef up. You only have to say it's 35 people watching you. Actual 35 people watching you. But social media, you can pay for numbers. So put it there. Bacardi is here less than 5 people watching. 1.2 thousand people watching. I mean, if everybody will log in every second, 1.4, do you know how many seconds there? It's not nothing. That's not how it works. No. And we know. But people try with this numbers. That's why These numbers are not. Some of them are real. Some of them are fake.
Yeah.
That's why when they go for election, nobody will show up. Now, if you said it, if Costa had it number, went to election, what did he get? He almost got whipped by, what do you call the guy, Rastafarian guy who was running for the ANC. But then they had, he went against,
Who's?
the list thing, the Liberian.
Oh, what his name? I forgot his name, man.
Yeah, the guy who said, what's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Well, that's the type of brother. The only thing I'm trying to say is, any customer might have people listening to him. Whether that is permanent or is what we can argue against. Those of us who do research, we don't believe that if the numbers cannot translate to your own personal well-being, something is fundamentally wrong with those numbers. Now, eventually, I can tell you that Mr. Costa will see Black Dynasty will find a way to come around. He's fighting his last battle because every time Mr. Cummings comes on, you can tell that people are moving towards him. They're gravitating towards him. I mean, if you can have Ivan Cooper behind him today, we have.
Listen, I gotta use the restroom.
Yeah.
I got. You want to still be talking? I gotta use the restroom.
My brother, I don't want you to do it on yourself, but I was just saying that Ivan Cooper.
Okay. Okay, guys. Woo. Trust me. I know everybody going. Only the committed ones stay back. Yeah. How to use the restroom. The stuff. Oh. Okay. Hello? 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 Spam. Okay, guys. I'm coming to wrap up. Let me just go over where I started from. Okay, guys. You listen to Henry Costa today, and I told you that I love what he said. I love it. He promoted Mr. Cummings big time, and he made Mr. Bwaka look like a liar, because everything Costa was saying, he was making up stories. Mr. Bwaka told us that, you know, actually I'm outside, that he built only one house, and that's the house he's living in. But today Mr. Costa told us that Mr. Bwaka had 4 houses, 2 in Lufa County, the town he was born in, and in Bopolu, and in Bomi Hills. And Mr. Bwaka got 2 farms. 2 farms. Did Mr. Bwaka ever run for anything in before, apart from running for president and he lost? No. He told us that Mr. Cummings he gave all the good resume of Mr. Cummings. How Mr. Cummings was in Nigeria with Coca-Cola. Mr. Cummings went at this far. He was vice president, CFO. He was vice president for Coca-Cola. He did good. Mr. Cummings got money. Mr. Cummings is a millionaire. He got almost $100 million. He said, you guys don't lie. Mr. Cummings got money. He said, Mr. Cummings never built a house in Liberia, which he lying. Mr. Cummings built a house in Liberia. He built houses in Liberia. But Mr. Cummings is not one of these person who brag. Mr. Costa said that Cummings left Liberia. He never came back to 25 years. That's a lie. Mr. Cummings has relatives in Liberia that he took care of during the war, and he sent for some of them. The same way some of us have relatives in America, or some people never had. Mr. Cummings then going to Liberia. He don't need to go to Liberia to go announce that he's in Liberia. He don't have to do that. But Mr. Cummings had a very good job. He don't have to go and work for government. The same way Henry Costa is saying that he don't want to work in government. He only want to contest. He don't want a job. He said he don't want a job in government. He don't want no appointment job. He wants to be elected. And if Mr. Cummings cannot even win Maryland County, why Mr. Cummings want to run for president to win presidency in Liberia? Oh, but the same Henry Costa failed to win District 6, and he cost the people up. But today Henry Costa is contemplating and thinking about running for Moserado County. Why would you want to run for Moserado when you can't even win the district? You can't win a district and you want to run for Moserado? And if my memory could serve me right, Henry Costa, political leader, could not even win his neighborhood, Carisburg, where they had over 5 different prisons. And in that era, he came 5th, I think 6th or 5th. And the entire country, he got 24 votes. But he will tell you they cheated him. And Henry Costa was campaigning. Henry Costa was still the big boy at the time, where everybody listened to him. But today Henry Costa saying that Mr. Cummings, a foreigner. Yes, Mr. Cummings was a citizen of America. He was not born in America like any one of us. George Weah was once a citizen of America. Circumstances allow you to naturalize. And there are a lot of citizens in Liberia working today in Liberia. Why would Costa be so down to go down that low, to go that far, and call Mr. Cummings or foreigner. Because you look at your numbers, Henry. Your numbers are not voters, Henry. Your numbers are not voters. Somebody may say, but Muni, you're spending too much time on Costa. Oh yes, Henry Costa spent a lot of time on Mr. Cummings today. He spent time on Mr. Cummings as if he were paid to do what he did. It was all disrespectful. Yes. Henry Tina, he can use the COP and switch over to Bwaka because the COP is already in the pocket of Bernard Ure. But it's a lie. Don't look. If Joshua can lose Montserrat, nobody own that country. All Liberians own Liberia. And when you make your case, you get it going. And just how we're doing it, we'll make our case. We'll make the case to the Liberian people. Trust me, Henry. Seriously. I might not get, well, I got 7 persons watching me right now. You have 2,000 people looking at you when you're making that statement. But your 2,000 people, not everybody there, the few people that say, yes, my leader, you're saying the truth. Because Liberians don't read. And you take advantage of Liberians. You see, that's the problem. You take a lot of advantage on Liberians because they listen to you. But you get pissed off with George Weah because George Weah got some supporters who believe in him. And when people go after you, your supporter costs them too. Or sometimes you block them. Henry, your political leader that you're supporting will never stand in the same room with Mr. Cummings. It's just that they are Liberians. Your political leader you're supporting, he's corrupt. He's corrupt in the eyes of the public. He has been prosecuted in the court of public opinion already. He's corrupt. That is why his business is not going too good, because the money is not a working money. Henry, the only thing I admire you for, you brave, you talk, they give you information, you say it. But when it comes to politics, Henry, you own it on your own interests. Maybe when Bernard Ure get what he wants from George, he will share with you. And 2, maybe Bwaka might want to carry as VP. And let me say this to you guys. You better bring your best team. Because if you think Bwaka is the best team for CPP, you lie. Dillon, people look at you as if you had that wisdom. But to see the way you're going, I hope you check yourself. I hope you check yourself, my brother. I hope you check yourself. Because it will not go down well. I know you're wishing for it to break up. There are a lot of people wishing for the CPU to break up. But if you're waiting for Mr. Cummings to break it up, you're lying. Nope. Mr. Cummings will not break it up. Mr. Cummings will stay there. You, UP, or whosoever want to break it up, go ahead. We're waiting. We're waiting. When you leave, we'll bring other people in. Yes. If Liberty Party leave and UP want to go, fine, we'll bring other people in. I'm telling you. But what you guys are doing, trying to backstab Mr. Cummings, unless Mr. Cummings' sweat is not in your stomach, unless Mr. Cummings' sweat is not on your victory, that's the only way you will harm him. From Taylor Ure, and I challenge you, Mr. Bernard Ure can say nothing. Mr. Cummings gave your daughter money to contest. Unless Mr. Cummings did help you